talent to really come to the top.
Clay Hendricks, the fifth year head coach of the Furman Paladins at his alma mater, 25-18, recently received a contract extension. He's done a nice job building a foundation. They shared the SoCon title in 2018. And our opening kick will go as a touchback, so the Aggies will go to work first offensively. After their return man, Bashol Tootin, took a knee in the end zone. North Carolina A&T is all about the ground game. Really not only Martin, but we'll see a lot of work on the ground. They averaged 442 yards plus in total offense a couple of seasons ago. They ran for nearly 235, and it's a big day for the guy behind center, Jalen Fowler, who grew up not far from here over in the Spartanburg area, played at Dorman High. He's a grad student, 5th season in the program, and now he's getting his first career start.
Yeah, Jalen's a great guy. I know his family. Really humble guy. I saw him before the game, and again, just he's focused, he's driven. You can see it in his eyes. Hope to see him have a big day today.
And as you would expect, it's Martin on the first carry in 2 seasons for any running back for North Carolina A&T. Jermaine Martin is a guy we are going to see a bunch. Number 30 for this North Carolina A&T team. Began his career at Coastal Carolina. He's from Conway, South Carolina, but he's found a home with the school in Greensboro.
And I tell you what, look at that offensive line. I mean, they are big, physical. I mean, I think you and I could run behind those big boys, Pete. But it's going to be interesting to see how that offensive line holds up. Again, in this heat, haven't played in over 600 days, to see how they come out and apply their will on this Furman defense.
Second down, Paladins step up. A Furman defense against the run that was second in the SoCon in the spring, under 130 yards a game, and some really good efforts. Only the Citadel and Chattanooga got above 170 yards in a game against them of the 7 they played during the spring months.
It's really important for that Furman defensive line to, hold that line of scrimmage, create penetration, really kind of get A&T off schedule and get them in a 3rd and long situation like they have now.
3rd down and 7. Fowler, certainly a physical presence, 6'4", 235. His first attempt of the game. A little bit wide, deflected, and Travis Blackshear of the Paladins was right there. Would have had a pick 6 had it bounced the other way. So a 3 and out for the Aggies on their first possession here in the fall of 21.
Yeah, and again, not a bad pocket. Again, he was able to survey the field. He made a throw. Receiver kind of slipped on the play. But great job by the Furman defense of getting 3 plays and off the field and getting the ball back for their offense to come on the field for the first time.
Mike Rivers averaged just over 40 yards per punt a couple of years ago. Deep for the Paladins, DeJuan Bell. No pressure applied. Bell at his own 35 off the bobble, grabbed from behind and taken down. Nice job hanging on by Miles Simon. And the Paladins will go to work just inside of their own 40-yard line. Their first possession in the fall of 21 is coming up early here at Paladin Stadium in Greenville. It's our season premiere on the Ingles SoCon Game of the Week.
Return to rugged, the all-new ruggedly redesigned 2022 Nissan Pathfinder.
Today, you have to deal with a lot of moving parts. You want everything to be on autopilot.
I got a huge increase in orders, but it's
and to be prepared if anything changes.
I'll be right in.
With IBM, you can do both. Your business can bring data together across your clouds, from suppliers to shippers to the factory floor. So whatever comes your way, the wheels keep moving, seamlessly modernizing your operations. That's why so many businesses work with IBM.
Nice work, everyone.
Season this year, getting some live reps and having that game feel, I think was very beneficial for him this summer and in this camp. But again, both teams coming out, going 3 and out early. I think it's really important to kind of iron out the wrinkles early so they can kind of get comfortable, get adjusted, get the butterflies and nerves down, so they can come out and just play good football.
As you see, a player being attended to for the Aggies. Looks like DJ Crossan, a Virginia Tech transfer, one of their defensive backs, and a guy that Sam Washington, their head coach, spoke highly of. It was a pass that split defenders, and it appeared, as we could see when it happened live, that Crossan landed awkwardly, or at least maybe misdirected all of a sudden.
There and give it our all. So again, that's probably the message that's being spoken on that sideline, and we're going to see how they respond once they get the football back after this punt.
Tommy Bleekrode averaged nearly 44 yards a punt in the spring, and Corey Banks let it go. Paladins will down it inside of the 25 for North Carolina A&T. So a second time today with the football for the Aggies offense. They are pretty much a ground-oriented team when you think of their stars like Jermaine Martin, particularly out of the backfield. They did have good balance a couple of years ago when they had a fifth-year senior at quarterback, Khalil Carter. They averaged better than 200 yards, both rushing and passing. You get the impression, though, they're going to try to ride Martin a whole lot. Other playmakers include the guy we just saw on the punt return, Corey Banks. They've got a couple of young receivers, freshmen, and Sterling Burkhalter and Jamison Warren. Several players, though, unable to play today for a variety of reasons, and particularly in the offensive skill area. Play action, Fowler, his first attempt of the game. The former Dorman High quarterback under the great Dave Gutschall is stopped for a little gain. It'll be second down.
And again, they can't, Fowler can run the football, but he is a really good passer when he gets the opportunity. But they need to really establish the run early. On first down, getting that positive yards. When you can run the football early, Pete, it makes everything else better for you. You're able to throw the ball down the field. You're able to milk the clock. You're able to keep, have plays that take away the opportunity of turnovers. So again, they need to establish the run, and getting behind schedule on first and second down is not where A&T wants to be.
A couple of years ago as a backup, Fowler had 12 carries for just over 50 yards. First completion of the day, it's Banks for a first down. Eventually wrapped up and dropped shy of the 40, but the first really positive play before Ivan Yates got him for the Paladins.
And that's what Fowler needs, rolling him out the pocket, getting him an opportunity to see the whole field, go through his different progressions, and then make the good throw to Banks to get the first down. Now they can kind of calm down, and again, I wouldn't be surprised if they start handing the ball off to Martin here, trying to get him established early here in the first quarter.
15 yards on that completion. Each team going 3 and out the first time they had the football. Play action. In stride. Into Furman territory.
Nice RPO right there by Fowler. You see pre-snap, he's getting everyone lined up the right way. He understands making this read and makes a nice strike across the middle. Another first down for this A&T offense, and they're just rolling now into Furman territory.
Back-to-back receptions for Corey Banks, preseason all Big South. This Aggies team picked third in the Big South, which is really coming along as a football conference. This year they've got a record 9 teams playing football in their league. A newcomer, North Carolina A&T, also Robert Morris in North Alabama, have joined the football ranks of the Big South. Off the pitch. Flag thrown in. Martin hopping over a man to get close to the 40. Let's see what the penalty marker's all about. Jerry Wellmaker, the referee on our Southern Conference crew today, and this one's coming back. Guilty parties, Ron Hunt, one of the wide receivers for the Aggies team.
And see, again, that gets you off schedule. And again, you can't get off schedule when you're going against a very good Furman defense like A&T is going to see today. But again, I want to see how does Jalen bounce back. That was kind of the first penalty of the game. Let's see how he bounced back on this play to see if he can get them back on schedule.
Martin gets a breather. Keyshawn Baker runs right side as they were pushed back into their own territory, but Baker able to clear midfield in his first carry of the game. They've got some depth behind Martin. Baker's a 5th-year senior out of Farmville, North Carolina, number 25, standing next to Fowler. And Sam Washington, the head coach, says he thinks a difference maker for them as a freshman, Bayshol Tootin, who I'm sure we'll see at some point out of their backfield.
Yeah, he said Tootin is really extremely bright young individual, someone that really has some just raw natural talent. Wouldn't be surprised if we see him in the rotation early.
Still second down and long, 2nd and 16. Pressure comes. Fowler does well just to throw it away as the Paladins sent the troops.
And the Paladins can do that, Pete, because it's 2nd and long. Now you know it's a passing situation. You can bring some more pressure, on the outside, get the young quarterback uncomfortable, and make him make a bad decision. So now 3rd and long, that defensive line, they can pin their ears back and really get after the quarterback. Wouldn't be surprised if you see some pressure coming from the outside or inside from this Furman defense.
Ivan Yates and Jeremiah Jackson for Furman, forcing Fowler to throw it away. So 3rd down and long. A couple of seasons ago, North Carolina A&T was 42% on 3rd downs. Trying to convert here, and
nice.
It's Banks. Great job turning around, just enough for the 1st down near the 30.
Great job. Jalen looked to the left, threw the defense off, came back to the right, made a nice strike to keep the drive alive. Watch here, watch his eyes. He looks left, get the defense going, comes back to the right. Nice strike, great job. And that tells me right there, he's been in the film room. He's been coached right. He understands how to look the defense off with his eyes, but knows where his receivers are and makes a good throw to keep the drive alive. Great job by the young quarterback.
3rd catch for Banks, the South Carolina transfer. And the 3rd on this drive.
Now you're back on schedule. 1st and 10, establish the run again. Looks like we got some miscommunication, and they have to burn a timeout here. But, hey, you got a fresh set of downs in positive territory. That's where you want to be if you're A&T.
Sam Washington wants to talk things over. North Carolina A&T, their offensive coordinators, Chris Barnett. He also coaches their quarterbacks. And early on here, after going 3 and out their first possession, doing a nice job moving inside of the Furman 35.
I mean, this is a talented team, Pete. I mean, again, you got to remember, this team back in 2019, you know, they won the HBCU National Championship, you know, in the Celebration Bowl. So they have a lot of talent. They haven't hit anyone that's not in their own jerseys in over 2 years. They're
623 days was the last game.
I mean, that's ridiculous. I mean, so
at least the Southern Conference teams in the league did a great job of at least having a spring season, and one that had enough games played that a champion VMI was established through it all. But
right.
Boy, it just had to be tough. You feel so badly for these players for North Carolina A&T and the others in the MEAC, the conference they were in.
Right.
And then the other schools that couldn't play at all in 20 or 21, either FBS or FCS. 1st and 10, Fowler out of the timeout.
Nice job.
Nice job by Baker. Ducked down and got some positive yards. Really nice compliment is Baker, who's not as big in terms of his physical size, to Martin, who's 214. Baker's 170.
Yeah, but again, they both have that top end speed, and that's what makes them so lethal. You know, on offense as a weapon, because they can both take it the distance if they get to that 2nd and 3rd level. Watch the interior of this offensive line, though. They have a really good center in DeQuari Wilson. Coach Washington was raving about him a lot in our call about how he takes control of that offensive line. So watch that center position to see how they create those holes up the middle.
I wasn't sure that was a forward pass on the drop by Baker, but immediately it was indicated to be incomplete and not a live ball, just a little bit in front.
Big 3rd down, though, here.
A&T 1 for 1 on 3rd down so far. I should say on this drive, 1 for 2 in the game. Fowler with Baker to his right. Baker diving attempt, incomplete. Step for step, Braden Gilby for Furman. Might have shielded the view of the intended target. So 4th down decision time from the Furman 30 for A&T. Looks like they're going to send out their freshman kicker, Andrew Brown, and try to get points off of his foot. Brown out of Lexington, North Carolina. First attempt of his collegiate career. Just inside of 50 yards, has the distance, and it's good.
Nice.
47 yards. Now there's some whistles after the fact. There is a penalty flag down at the 30.
This could be big, Pete.
Still waiting for the indication.
Might be
And
roughing the kicker.
I think it's going to go against Furman. So you see, penalty decline, field goal will stand, and North Carolina A&T taking a first quarter lead here in Greenville. 3-0 our score off the 47-yarder on the first collegiate attempt for Andrew Brown. So Sam Washington, longtime defensive coordinator for the Aggies before he was promoted to the top job ahead of the 2018 season. We told you, very impressive. 19 wins in his first 2 years as the head coach. That's him with the headphones clapping right there on the far left.
And again, that's a good drive for A&T. You know, they came down the field, they converted on some big third downs. They didn't get the touchdown that they wanted, but they were able to put points on the board and kind of get Jalen, you know, get those butterflies out, get him calmed down, and allow him to kind of get some type of rhythm. And that's what they want to do. They want to keep it simple. They want to be able to, you know, run the ball, protect the ball, and also be smart and things like that. So, again, I think that was a very positive drive. Now, they can come to the sideline, get some adjustments, and go back out there the next time and hopefully have a similar result or even get a touchdown.
Wayne Anderson averaged about 18 yards per kick return in the spring. Brown handles the kickoff duties as well for A&T. Anderson inside his own 5. Little head fake, but wrapped up and dropped just beyond the 20-yard line. Paladins getting ready to go back to work offensively for the second time this afternoon. And getting back to some of the things they're trying to do offensively. And again, Clay Hendricks adamant in our pregame talk about the fact that the offense in the spring maybe wasn't on the same page. We noted earlier they're trying to make the offense more user-friendly. Their running backs seem to have been with the program forever. They're trying to maybe figure out some ways to get them in. We saw Dominic Roberto and did not see Devin Wynn on the first series of the game. And Wynn now back out there, the deep back, but flags thrown and whistles before the snap, and this one's going to walk Furman back 5 yards.
And this is the kind of stuff that's going to drive Coach Hendricks crazy. You know, you're trying to establish the offense. You're trying to, you know, get some momentum going. You're playing at home. It's the first game of the season, and you got guys jumping off sides, you know, on a false start. It's little things like that that you really have to get out early. But again, they have all these different running backs, but it really determines on how that offensive line plays. If that offensive line can't create holes, can't get a hat on a hat, create movement, you can have all the best backs in the world, but you're not going to do anything no matter how user-friendly the offense is. So watching that offensive line, he said he felt good about it. He felt that they had a good camp. He felt that they got better. They have more depth at that offensive line position. So let's watch and see how they play. That's going to dictate and determine how well successful this offense is going to be.
Sisson, with pressure coming, simply throws it away. Nice job forcing him to get rid of it before he wanted to by Alex Fumba. Play before that, we saw Wynn's first carry. He led the Paladins with 511 yards in the spring. A couple of years ago, the last time there was a full season in 2019, he was 5th in the SoCon, 0 right there toward the bottom of your screen, over 1,100 yards. And they've got another Devin. They seemingly lead the nation in Devins. That's Devin Abrams lined up to the right of Sisson with a 3rd down and 12 coming up. Over the middle, Bell in stride has the 1st down. Might have gone for more, was quickly hit. Huge play for the Paladins offensively, their best so far, to get them out to the 35 and keep the drive going. Ends up covering 16 yards. And Fumba, if he doesn't hit Bell just about after he caught the ball, Bell might have gone significantly further.
Absolutely. And again, great job by the offensive line, creating a pocket for Hamp to sit there and get the ball out, survey the field. And again, both teams now have converted a 3rd and long. Let's see how Furman can try to continue this momentum on this drive.
Win off the option pitch, not a whole lot happening. If you're just joining us, we had a delay in this game. One of the starting defensive backs and a really good player, DJ Crossan, injured with contact on a play from his teammate Amir McNeil. Looked like in the head or neck area. They actually had to bring the ambulance out to the field, and they put him on the stretcher with all of the security precautions in place when a player seems to have a head or a neck-related injury, so that causes a delay, but it's also caused North Carolina A&T to rely on their depth defensively. Important player for them. Fake handoff. The tight end in stride. Ryan Miller acts more like a wide receiver. Led him in the spring with 6 touchdown catches. There is his first grab here in the fall.
And again, Furman's kind of picking up some momentum. Great job on the RPO right there. Hamp making the read, understanding where the mismatch was, and then, you know, making a great throw. Again, keeping the chains going, keeping the drive alive. That's what Furman wants to do, and making this offense more user-friendly.
Each of these offenses mirroring each other. North Carolina A&T went 3 and out the first time they had the ball, put together a scoring drive that ended with a field goal as that pass attempt is incomplete. And now the Paladins showing life, second time they have it.
Exactly, and it's going to be interesting to see how this kind of fast-paced RPO offense, what kind of effect that has on the defense. Again, we mentioned how hot it is. It's even hotter on the football field. How does this both defenses, can they stand up, you know, with this kind of high-paced offense that they're facing?
10-play, 47-yard scoring drive when North Carolina A&T had the ball. They've used that pitch a couple of times, this time to the right side, and Wynn pushed out of bounds. Twice they've run that to the short side of the field. I don't know, I would think wide side of the field, you let Wynn use a head fake and maybe have some room to create some space for himself.
Yeah, but it's all about numbers as well, Pete. If they feel that they have the numbers with the motion, with the guy in motion, they'll go to the side that they have the numbers in that mismatch. And so again, whether it's the strong side or the weak side of the field, if you have the number matchup, you're going to go to that side.
Forced out of bounds by Jacob Roberts, one of the athletic linebackers. Another third down for the Paladins, who in the spring were 8th in the SoCon, and a hard hit on the receiving end. That was the top target in the spring, Ryan DeLuca. Let's see if he's got enough for a first down.
Let's see if he's got his mouthpiece after that one.
Man. And he does a great job hanging on to the football.
Yeah.
Sure-handed receiver, 24 grabs in the spring.
My God.
4th down. And I think they're going to go look at the videotape because they're going to probably look as much for targeting as anything else. We noted it's a point of emphasis once again this year.
Can we get a replay on that? Can we see it? I mean, that was...
Initially, I wasn't sure that he'd actually held onto the ball based on our view, but it's going to be 4th and 2. We're going to take a timeout. Video review, we believe, to see if there was targeting on that hit on DeLuca. A&T up 3-0 opening quarter here in Greenville.
Pizza Hut's Detroit-style pizza is back. Same crispy crust, cheese all the way to the edge, and the sauce still on top. Okay, now I'm hungry. The Detroit-style pizza. Create your own or pick from 3 signature recipes. No one out-pizzas the Hut.
Some have a history of building the best trucks. But according to just about anybody who's handing out a trophy, Ram currently builds the best trucks. So if you're shopping for a truck today, here it is. If you're shopping in the past, well, good luck with that. That was then. This is Ram.
Right now, get 0% financing for 72 months, plus no monthly payments for 90 days on select 2021 Ram 1500 models.
With Jared Singleton, Pete Ganady back with you, and targeting is the ruling. Alex Fumba, the big hit on that play. So the hard hit, and again, there are many different levels to which they will confirm targeting, and that's particularly if a player was exposed, the offensive player was exposed to danger. But they looked at it, and another player in the linebacker secondary core for North Carolina A&T will have to exit this game, this time Fumba, as a result of targeting. Paladin's going to go for it on 4th down. And actually, 1st down, I'm sorry, based on the penalty, of course, for targeting, and that gave him the automatic 1st down. So here they go from just outside of the 15. This time a pitch. Anderson runs into traffic.
Great defense. See how that safety number 20 just kind of filled the alleys. You see, I think we got the replay coming up here on that targeting play. Yep, can't leave the crown of your head. But even though it looks like he used his shoulder, I think because he led with the crown of his head, that's why they had the targeting call. But I personally think he led with the shoulder. I wouldn't have made that call. Thought it was just a strong hit. But again, the rules are the rules, and the refs are there to enforce it.
Loss of a yard on that carry by Anderson. His first attempt of the day, and that pass over the middle.
And again, that motion is drawing that safety down to fill the gap in that alley. And what the quarterback's doing, he's reading that. And if his receiver has won his matchup, he's going to throw the ball where that safety is coming down the alley and try to get right behind him. But again, great job. I really like the safety, number 20, I believe it's number 20, yeah.
Najee Reams.
He's playing a heck of a first quarter. So whenever you guys see motion coming, watch how he plays that, and then that's the kind of the guy that they're reading, Furman's reading to see what they do with the play.
Third down, Sisson thought about it. Second effort, man open, win, touchdown. Devin Wynn, the first touchdown of the fall of 21 for the Furman Paladins. Didn't have a touchdown grab in the spring. I think right there we see the user-friendly part of this Furman offense they hope to have for Sisson. I'm not so sure they have their running backs all that often in the passing game as they would have wanted back in the spring.
Definitely not, but again, I mean, you feel bad for A&T because you see a quarterback break in the pocket, so you go in to try to, make a tackle, and he throws the ball right over your head. So, again, great job by Furman coming back, driving down the field, having some big conversions on third down, third and long, and again, finishing and topping the drive off with a touchdown. Great job by the Paladins.
Devin Wynn, fifth-year senior out of Greensboro, Georgia, against the team from Greensboro, North Carolina, gives the Paladins their first lead of the afternoon. Solid drive on the second possession for the Paladins as Furman able to get that scoring toss of 17 yards to cap it off. Sisson during the spring, 12 touchdown tosses. But 9 interceptions, so he's looking to be more efficient. And you get the impression that Clay Hendricks really feels like they can get to the version of Ham Sisson that they'll be happy with. They didn't have it in the spring, but they don't necessarily put that on him. And I think by evidence of that drive we just saw, they didn't try to put too much pressure on him. The passes were high percentage. The one to DeLuca could have gone a lot of different ways had that been deflected, but that was a huge play, and that ultimately led to a first down.
And it's all about kind of trying to establish Devin Wynn early, getting him going, get that running game going. Because if you can run the football, it'll make the job real easy for Ham Sisson because he'll have, more of that play action, more of those matchups where he can, take advantage of taking the top off of the defense, throwing the ball deep. So, again, that's what they want to do. They want to rely on the run game, and they believe that will make it a lot easier for the quarterback here in the fall season.
32-yard return for Bayshell Tootin, one of the exciting new players as part of the offense and special teams for the Aggies of A&T. So North Carolina A&T and Jalen Fowler out of Inman, South Carolina, former standout at Dorman High, his first career start, coming in the opening game on the road of 2021. Their quarterback had a fine high school career. 2016 at Dorman, over 3,700 yards passing and 43 touchdowns, both Dorman records that season. You could see some confusion expressed from Fowler looking back over to the bench, and A&T will use another timeout here in the opening half.
They didn't have the right personnel. The offense came on the field. They were missing a guy, and they needed, someone else wasn't focused, wasn't dialed in on the sideline, and, they run into the situation where they have to burn a timeout. So, again, I think you're seeing it on both sides. Furman had a false start. Got personnel guys, not the right personnel coming on the field. You kind of expect that on the first game. But again, first quarter is coming to an end, 4 minutes left. Hopefully they kind of get the butterflies and get all that anxiety out so they can kind of really focus in and play good football here in the second quarter and the rest of the game.
Offensively, the big change for North Carolina A&T, at least the most noticeable, the fact that Fowler's now the starting QB compared to their last full season. And 2019, well, Khalil Carter did a nice job as a fifth-year senior in his lone year as a starter. 1st and 10 from the 32 for the Aggies. Didn't see Martin a whole lot in the late plays of that scoring drive that was capped off with a field goal, but stopped at the 34-yard line.
And again, they really need to get him started early in the drive. You know, getting that first and, you know, that first down, getting, you know, 3 to 4 yards on that first down play is critical for A&T to stay on schedule so they don't put so much pressure on Jalen and have to make the big throws on 2nd and 3rd and longs.
Fake handoff. Looking long over the middle. Beyond the reach of Ron Hunt.
But you can see the arm strength. Jalen's got a strong arm. Great job by the offensive line, kind of giving him enough room in the pocket to see the defense, see what they're giving him, and making a great throw. Again, just a little bit too long, but you see that arm strength that Coach Washington was talking about, and I wouldn't be surprised if they go back to a play like that later in the game.
A&T missing some wide receivers who would have been in their rotation, who aren't available for this game, but we saw Corey Banks play a big role in their scoring drive. A guy like Hunt's an impressive presence at 6'3", 190. 3rd down, and so far in the game, Aggies are 1 for 3. Once again looking long, this time far sideline. Again, Hunt the target. Step-for-step coverage, though, by Ivan Yates, and an official is down, so play will be stopped right near the 40-yard line on the offensive end of the field. You see, not sure exactly what happened, but we've seen a very serious injury for DJ Crossan, a defensive back for A&T in this opening half. We've seen a targeting call as Ryan DeLuca made a catch and popped back up. That cost Alex Fumba his time in the game. And then we see one of our officials now in a collision.
And then you got a flag on the play, too.
Cam Brinson, the Furman safety, is the player that ran into the official, and I can't tell exactly who it is. And let's see, I'm looking for the penalty marker. Wasn't sure if I...
Yes, it's right on the 50, right on Furman's sideline. I think a DB and a wide receiver.
There you go.
They got into it kind of going towards the sideline. So
just off the bottom of our screen, actually before our score bar, below our score bar, you can see it. I'm assuming that's a penalty marker.
Yeah.
Yeah. And indeed, the attending right now, it looks like our umpire, Vaughn Cowan, is the one who took the spill. Obviously, you play early September games in the afternoon in the South, you're going to get warm conditions, particularly on an artificial surface. And these officials coming into the game, if nothing else, making sure they're hydrated and so forth. Cowan, the umpire, is up. Looks like we'll go with one less official on the crew for now. We do have an alternate, though, Kevin Mack, and you would suppose that he will come out and replace Cowan, but Cowan able to walk off under his own strength. Frankly, I'm not sure what the protocol would be, is if he's checked out and able to come back in, if he can return to the game just like a player.
That's a trivia question you don't want to ask Jared about, because I have no idea.
Here's a look again, and there looks like double personal fouls.
No, it's just on Furman.
Oh, it's just okay. I thought we got a plural of personal fouls. So Travis Blackshear, the guilty party. That's a big penalty on what was a huge 3rd down play that Furman would have gotten the hole. But Blackshear called for the personal foul. That'll put A&T out at their own 49.
And a fresh set of downs, too.
So another penalty against Furman, and Fowler and his offense stay out there. Martin looked like he tried to cut back to his left, lost his balance, and nothing doing. It'll be 2nd and long.
You know, I think Furman understands that, you know, if they can't put a stop to, you know, Jermaine Martin early and you know, 1st, 2nd down, it's going to be a long day. So Furman's defense has done a great job of really, as you see here on the replay, You know, condensing that box, winning the line of scrimmage, holding their ground, and creating that penetration, creating this 2nd and 3rd and long.
It's actually Jeff McElveen on the carry, first of the day for him. On the sideline, wasn't going to stay in as Quinzel Lockhart did his best. Covered nicely by DeMarcus Clay. So once again, 3rd down and long for A&T. So far in the ball game, aided by that penalty the last time, but they're 1 for 3 on 3rd downs. They were efficient in that category 2 years ago at 42%.
Big 3rd down play right here. Find the matchup, see what the defense is giving you. See the center calling out the blocking schemes.
Fowler. He can run as well. Big guy to try to stop, and he's dropped about a yard, maybe 2 shy of the yard line to get, and it'll bring up 4th down. So decision time now for North Carolina A&T's Sam Washington. Going to be 4th down and 2 at the 43 of Furman.
He's going to punt it. Interesting call. You know, personally, if I had a quarterback 6'4", 240, I would go for it. You know, 4th and 2, 4th and 1. Interesting punt to punt the ball here, but hey, that's why he's the coach and I'm up here in the box.
Mike Rivers, his 2nd punt of the game. And it'll bounce out near the 1-2. Let's see where they'll say it went out. I thought it was going to be right up against the pylon. Still, nice work as Furman will be set back all the way to its own 9-yard line to start this series. First half, a doubleheader on our Ingalls SoCon Game of the Week. Season premiere Saturday. Western Carolina and Eastern Kentucky come your way on many of these same stations at 6 p.m. Scott Perzwanski, Jay Sonhalter on the call for the Catamounts and the Colonels. The Kerwin Bell era getting underway in Cullowhee, North Carolina tonight at 6 on our Nexstar network of stations. So 1st and 10 for the Paladins, an impressive scoring drive. And the last time they had the ball, and a more comfortable looking Ham Sisson, I think, Jared, is maybe the best way to describe him.
Looked very comfortable again, made some good throws, you know, stepped up in the pocket, made some good reads with the RPO game. And again, he understands that he has a great backfield behind him. He has a healthy and physical offensive line that has, you know, I think they have like eight guys they're going to try to rotate in the game today. So Hamp should feel very confident going out with this unit each and every possession. And again, trying to get positive yards, trying to make the right reads, understand what the defense is giving you, and then making the play.
3 yards for Dominic Roberto. He actually started in the backfield in place of Wynn today, but here is a burst of speed for the 5th-year senior Devin Wynn. He showed us his receiving ability with that touchdown catch just a little bit ago, and that is what he does on the ground. Makes him one of the best in the SoCon.
Watch the big guys up front. Everyone has a hat on the hat, creating openings and letting the back do what he does best.
18 yards. Paladins quickly with the snap. Bell wrapped up. Nicely read by North Carolina A&T. Miles Simon, number 4 for the Aggies, leading the charge.
Great job. And again, this Aggie defense has a lot of speed. As far as going sideline to sideline, they might be one of the fastest defenses that Furman sees this year. And they're just so talented. I mean, this is a very talented group of guys from North Carolina A&T, and they're very physical. It kind of speaks to how they practice and how they've been practicing over the past, 623 days.
2nd down and 8, a physical 5'11", 236-pound Dominic Roberto. Safety Najee Reams coming up and making the stop.
I tell you, this safety, he's really doing a great job filling the alley. He's understanding. He really gets that defense in the right play, making sure everyone's on the same page. And then when he shows up in that alley, he's definitely delivering the mail.
Another 3rd down for the Paladins. Looked like a little bit of a bobble on the exchange.
It's going to be close, though.
First carry of the day for Kendall Thomas. And again, first carry of the season. Maybe some jitters right there, a little anxiety. And
he got the first down.
Just enough to get the first down. So the Paladins move the chains. That was an issue in the spring. They feel like they played well enough defensively in the spring to win a SoCon title. Trouble was they were 8th in third down conversion. A huge stat, of course, at under 35%. But so far this afternoon, 3 of 5. Might be our final snap of our opening quarter of play here in Greenville. On 1st and 10, play action, Sisson. Long over the middle. Diving attempt incomplete. And good coverage on the play as well. Zach Peterson, the intended target.
And that's a great job of Hamp Simpson, really understanding, finding the one-on-one matchup. Great protection by the offensive lines. You see right here, you know, the offensive line gave him enough time to really wind up and throw the ball deep. And again, you know, a little bit, I think the receiver should have caught that ball personally. But great job by the offensive line doing their job.
Peterson getting behind Aaron Harris. Win drop for lost yards on a 2nd down carry, and that'll bring us to the end of the opening quarter of play. Aggies, they stopped the run. That's been a brand for them for a while. They were 4th in the nation 2 years ago. Opponents rushed for fewer than 80 yards a game against North Carolina A&T. But as our first quarter comes to an end, they're looking up at a deficit. Furman Paladins on the Hamp Sisson to Devin Wynn connection. A 7-3 lead on our Ingalls SoCon Game of the Week.
Some have a history of building the best trucks. But according to just about anybody who's handing out a trophy, Ram currently builds the best trucks. So if you're shopping for a truck today, here it is. If you're shopping in the past, well, good luck with that. That was then. This is Ram.
Right now, get 0% financing for 72 months, plus no monthly payments for 90 days on select 2021 Ram 1500 models.
There's this love I found, can be spinning round. This should never end. Let the dream descend.
Supporter of Paladins Athletics, celebrating him on the field today on Tommy Stevenson Day. He's more commonly known as the Tommy of Tommy's Ham House, very popular eating spot in Greenville for many years that he decided to retire and close a few months back, but well loved in the Furman community and the Greenville community, and they're celebrating him today. Second quarter begins on our Ingalls SoCon Game of the Week with Jared Singleton, Pete Hannity with you here at Paladin Stadium. A SoCon Big South battle, Furman and North Carolina A&T, and a 3rd down and long for Hamp Sisson and the Paladins. And DeLuca, that time it's a tumble out of bounds, not the hard shot he took in the opening quarter on their TD scoring drive, but enough for the 1st down.
And Hamp did a great job rolling out. Yeah, I'm a big fan, Pete, you know this. Anytime it's 3rd and long or a big play like that, getting the quarterback to roll out the pocket so he can survey and see all of his options, see where the defense is, see where his receivers are, and then make a good throw. Great job doing by rolling out. Great job by the offensive line of giving him protection and keeping the drive alive.
The physical Devin Abrams, his first touch of the game. In that opening quarter, Paladins had 99 yards, just 34 on the ground, but that's kind of how North Carolina A&T makes you play. But Abrams, 3 yards on that 1st down attempt to the 45 of the Aggies.
It's going to be interesting, Pete, now that we started the 2nd quarter. The emotions and all those things are kind of should be out the window. Now guys can kind of settle into the scheme, settle into the, you know, the strategies that both teams want to implement and go out and execute at a high level.
Sisson, 6 of 12 passing so far, and beyond Bell, and nearly into the hands of Simon, the defensive back, not far from him. Good coverage once again by your guy, Najee Reams. You really like that fellow right there, the grad student out of Durham.
I mean, he is coached really well. I mean, you can see that he spent a lot of time in the film room working with the defensive coaches, understanding what different looks, down and distances are going, you know, what you can expect, and getting his guys in the right position so they can be successful. He's having a heck of a ball game so far.
Paladins looking to convert again on 3rd down in this drive. They're 4 of 6 in the game. Sisson with Bell taking a hard hit, but he's got the 1st down as he stood up just inside the 35.
He's all over the place, man. He is all over the place.
He is pumped too. And that play right there, I was going to mention earlier when the targeting was called against Fumba that led to his ejection. I really think to avoid targeting, players are going to be coached, look, at all times extend your arms on any kind of contact. Going quick, a spin by Wynn off the reception. Only Reams to beat, but another defender able to cut him down before he got to the goal line. Amir McNeil saves a TD, but Devin Wynn, second big catch in this game.
Well, Devin Wynn showing that he might need to be listed as a wide receiver and not just a running back. You know, he's showcasing the full package, being able to use his hands as well as his feet. Getting to your point, Pete, I'm not sure. You know, that's the thing that these coaches, you know, we ask so much of our coaches to, you know, have to teach guys and all these different strategies, things like that. It's going to be interesting how they, you know, try to implement a new way of tackling with this whole head-to-head, you know, targeting rules, things like that. You might have guys going at knees, and now you see more ACL injuries and things like that. So is that what you really want to try to promote? I'm glad I'm not in the business to figure that out, you know?
Little flip pass ahead to Bell, loses 2 yards. So far, 13 plays on this drive, covering 85 yards. Began in the late stages of the opening quarter. And based on the fact the play clock was winding down, Clay Hendricks electing to use a timeout and talk things over. Paladins in the red zone back in the spring. They were 4th in the SoCon in red zone offense. They were 12 of 19 on scoring touchdowns. They're going to try to convert for a second time in the A&T red zone here this afternoon as they look to build on this 7-3 advantage.
And A&T at this point, they really have to have a bend but don't break mentality. You know, they've given up a lot of big plays, but their defense is well coached. Again, they have a lot of talent. They have a lot of experience on that defense side of the football. So how can they rely on that to, you know, only allow Furman to get a field goal and not get a touchdown here in the second quarter?
North Carolina A&T. They're the largest HBCU school in the nation, an enrollment of roughly 13,000. We've talked about the fact this is their first game as a member of the Big South Conference. They left the MEAC, the Mid-Eastern Athletic Conference, for which they were a founding member back in 1971. Their folks tell us that they just felt like they needed to go to a league that could help their athletic programs a little bit more, and they find that in the Big South, but it was very difficult to lead the MEAC. And a lot of their alums, they heard from them. It's not been necessarily a popular move. Might have been deflected. Good pressure applied that time by Henry Daniel. Big defensive end.
Got a penalty on the play.
And also a flag down.
And the way this Furman team's building momentum, they don't need any extra help with penalties, getting them closer to the goal line.
I believe the gentleman who just picked up the flag was the umpire who had to be. No, I was wrong about that. It wasn't the same guy.
Oh, wow.
So you don't see that all the time, but offensive pass interference in the red zone. Take a look.
Yeah, he can't do that. So what happened was, it looks like the receiver's coming in trying to do a rub route, you know, one of those natural picks, but instead of just, you know, being natural about it, he wanted to hold the defender, and that's not really natural to hold a guy like that. Big penalty, though.
Third penalty for Furman. Backs him all the way to the 21. Second down and goal from back there in North Carolina A&T. They're showing Wynn what it looks like when he runs against a top 5 rushing D.
Top 5 rushing D in a defensive line that, again, they've kind of settled the emotions down. They understand what the strategies are, and creating that penetration, creating that resetting the line of scrimmage and pushing the offensive line back. Again, this is a big ask because this is a very physical, very big, strong defensive line. Furman's offensive line is going to have their hands full all afternoon.
That play lost 3 yards. Third and goal from the A&T 24. Sisson, time.
Wide open. Oh.
DeLuca.
Miscommunication. Yeah, 2 guys covering 1 man. DeLuca was wide open. Hamp just didn't have enough time to make a good enough throw. The pocket was kind of collapsing on him, as you see. But look at the top of your screen. You'll see two guys covering one receiver, leaving DeLuca wide open as he crossed back into the middle of the field. Again, bend but don't break mentality. A&T giving up possibly just a field goal here and keeping this game very manageable for Jalen Fowler and the Aggies offense to come out and try to build on this momentum by the defense.
Timmy Bleekrode was 6 of 7 on field goals in the spring, and he's perfect so far in the fall. 41-yarder for the Paladins sophomore out of Atlanta. They build on the lead. Early second quarter in Greenville. Now 10-3 over North Carolina A&T on our Ingles SoCon Game of the Week.
Focused on the culture. He's really focused on making sure that, he created a championship atmosphere and defined the standard as nothing less than excellent. Demanding a lot from his guys. He talked earlier this week about how practices were so brutal because they have a high level of competition, and they encourage that. They want their guys to compete at a high level in everything that they do. So again, I think he's done a fantastic job over the past few years, and A&T is truly one of the powerhouses in this league.
And Sam Washington, you've commented on how well coached their defense is, particularly their secondary, of course, in the 80s. A fine defensive back primarily with the Steelers. And a guy who his philosophy overall is basically keep it simple. And he says, we just have a very simple motto. We do chicken, just like the old KFC ad, in which we just do our thing and don't try to get crazy. That was almost a disaster. Still doesn't work out real well off the high snap for Fowler. Paladins make him pay. A loss back close to the 20.
Again, you got to take control. Again, Jalen's a great leader. Coach talked about his leadership skills. He's got to take control of this drive. He's got to get his guys settled down. Kind of a high snap, control the snap. He is a tall guy, but again, have that communication with your center. Say, hey, get it down for me a little bit and try to get back on track.
Loss of 4 on the play. Got to be tough making your first career start on the road, let alone after the team didn't play games for 2 years. Blackshear probably would have taken down Fowler had he not slipped to the turf. And it's going to be 3rd and a mile for the Aggies.
Not how you want to start this drive. Again, play action fake. And then as soon as you turn around, you got a cornerback blitz off your backside that you didn't see coming, and then just kind of lose his footing there. Now 3rd and a mile. Wouldn't be surprised if we see kind of like a draw play or a simple run play, maybe even a screen right here, and then punt the football back and kind of play the field position game. But again, not a great possession by A&T this particular drive.
Aggies 1 of 4 on 3rd down so far. Fowler unloading near sideline. Leaping attempt by Hunt. Incomplete. Yates was over there in the coverage. I don't know if Hunt would have landed in bounds anyway.
He looked like he could have got 1 foot in if he would have, been able to reel it in with his hands. But again, not a good possession by A&T that particular drive. Hopefully they get a good punt here and rely on their special teams to really flip the field for them. But again, Furman is slowly but surely building more and more momentum. Now they've got a 10-3 lead here in the second quarter, and they have a great stop there on defense and looking to try to build on that lead here in the second quarter.
Rivers from about a yard or 2 in his own end zone. Bell thought about a return. He'll step into his team's sideline, and Furman will get the ball back near its own 40-yard line. Paladins have scored 10 unanswered points, looking to build on their 7-point advantage on our Ingles SoCon Game of the Week.
Aflac policyholders have been paid $37 billion directly. That's a lot of money.
Did somebody say money? Get help with expenses health insurance doesn't cover.
Aflac is ready for prime time.
Aflac is an official sponsor of ESPN College Game Day.
Ooh, how far to the next?
Rest stop, 9 miles.
How many?
Carrollton, Texas, 10,900,000.
Whoa, that cricket 5G
Freaky fast, I know.
Everything you want, including the price.
Back to work on offense for the Furman Paladins. Their defense has limited A&T to just 12 yards over their past 2 offensive possessions after their field goal drive. A little dump off into the right flat hard hit, and eventually knocked out of bounds. At the 45 is Kendall Thomas. Thomas, I think, an X factor for this Furman offense. He's down on the depth chart behind Wynn and Anderson to the running back slot. Popped out of bounds. Check out the hard hit again at the end of this play. Looked like, not sure if it was Joseph Stuckey who initially made that hit. 5 on the play. Second down, 5 off the play action. There's the big tight end, Ryan Miller.
And again, that's that RPO, you know, understanding, seeing what the defense is giving you. You see that when you make that, you know, play fake and the defense collapse on the running back, you just throw the ball right behind that linebacker you see here on the replay, right behind him, and boom, that tight end's wide open.
And you saw Miller coming off the field looking like he was feeling some pain, now being attended to on the sideline by an athletic trainer. He is an important part of what they do. Devin Abrams this time. And on first down, maybe picks up a yard. A&T already has seen 2 key defensive players, at least 2 starters, exit this game. DJ Crossan, a very scary looking injury. It appeared to be in his neck or shoulder area, but he had to be taken off on an ambulance. And then Alex Fumba ejected on a targeting call. Both those situations coming in the opening quarter.
Yeah, it's been a long first half so far for A&T, just trying to find some rhythm on offense. They make a few good plays, but, you know, trying to find that consistent rhythm, which is expected. As you see a nice run here on second down, but you got a penalty on the play. Looks like it might be a hold coming back. But again, you know, A&T, they haven't played in over 2 years, so trying to get that rhythm down so they can allow their talented guys just to be talented and perform at a high level. Just waiting for that to kind of click here.
Jerry Wellmaker telling us that Jacob Johanning with the infraction, the offensive lineman for the Paladins. They like what they have. You mentioned they're trying to build some depth up front offensively. That's probably the area of their team that presented as much of a mystery as anything for them coming in was how deep could they be in their offensive line. But Johanning, one of their reliable returnees, he played his high school ball over at St. Joe's High, not far from here in Greenville.
Well, I mean, you know, look, Hamp Simpson and all these running backs can have a great year, but it doesn't matter unless the offensive line is producing. And that offensive line has to be in one unit. They have to be able to understand and be healthy throughout the whole year. So, you know, we could talk all we want to about the quarterbacks in the backfield, but if those guys up front aren't playing as one and they aren't healthy, it's going to be a long season for anybody.
I think we've broken the code for the new theme of the Furman offense. That was Anderson, another running back. So they've really been distributing the ball in the air to their backs. As Wynn with the touchdown TD, one of his 2 catches. We saw Kendall moments ago. He's got a couple. That was the first toss to Anderson to try and acclimate the playmakers out of their backfield to complement Miller and DeLuca and others. Devin Abrams on 3rd down and 11. For that snap, Paladins had converted 5 of their first 8 so far. So 4th down, Clay Hendricks with his team up by 7. Midway through the second quarter now, let's see what he elects to do.
I think he's probably going to go for it because knowing that it was 3rd down 11, he made that run play right up the gut to kind of make it 4th and 5 or 6, makes it more manageable for his offense.
On 4th down and 6, Paladins will indeed go. In the spring, they were 9 of 18 on 4th down tries.
This is a big play for A&T's defense if they can get off the field here. Again, play your reads, understand what the formation is.
Play clock down to 0. I'm not sure if they called for a timeout before that. So what they were trying to do was induce the jump, which would have set up a 4th and 1, but A&T, give them credit for being disciplined. Nothing else, they buy some room, does Furman, for their punter Bleekrode, and that's going to be what they will now do, sending him out there.
And again, I would not have expected A&T to jump there. They're a very disciplined, well-coached program, well-coached defensive unit. They're not going to jump on a 4th and 5, 4th and 6. to create a first down possibility. So great job by Coach Washington's unit of getting the ball back. And again, can we see a better performance this drive for this offensive unit, as we didn't see that last time with A&T when they took the ball on offense.
Paladins to get the ball back after the punt, or I should say Aggies to get the ball back after the Bleak Road punt. North Carolina A&T has been stifled their past few possessions against this Furman defense, and we'll start this drive for their own 20. Jalen Fowler out of Inman, South Carolina, first career start. Came to their program in 2017. Haven't seen a whole lot out of that guy so far today. Jermaine Martin, though, on the carry, just his third. Martin, had he had a 2020 season, probably would have jumped into the NFL draft. They consider him to be a pro prospect. He can play at the next level. He's got the speed, he's got the size, but they tell us that because of the off year, he kind of put on some weight that, let's just say, isn't the good weight.
Hey, we all did. Pete.
Exactly, but you're not trying to get to the NFL, at least as far as I know. Anyway, Fowler on a second down carry and the long strides of the big fella at 6'4", able to get across the 30 for the first down. But that's what led to him coming back and giving them a dynamic weapon to now make a run on their new conference, the Big South.
And again, Pete, you know, we talked coming into the game that Martin was going to be the workhorse. You know, Furman's done a great job of really kind of mitigating his productivity here in the first half. But we're seeing now they got a first down. A&T kind of getting in the rhythm. They ran the ball first down, kind of get 4 or 5 yards. See a good run right there by Jalen. Can they finish the quarter, 5:40 left, can they finish the quarter strong with a nice drive, put some plays and first downs together to tie this ball game up and go into halftime tied up? I think that's what Coach Washington, that was his message before they took the field. And let's see how Jalen, who's capable of putting together a drive for them to come out with points and a touchdown.
And you see they're kind of going back to their motto is just keep it simple.
Run the football.
And on this drive, that's what they've been doing. Martin picks up a couple of yards on another carry. Second down, 8. Throw behind the intended target. Banks, he was a big factor in their scoring drive with 3 catches, but he's been quiet since. Nice coverage over there. Micah Robinson out of Atlanta's Westlake.
Yeah, and again, great coverage by the defense, creating a 3rd and long. And again,
but a ball that frankly was not well thrown because Robinson probably would have been in a position to make a tackle instead of knocking it away had it been a better toss.
Absolutely. Big 3rd down play right here, Pete.
3rd down hasn't been the Aggies' friend so far, just 1 of 5. 3rd and 8. Delayed handoff. Martin finds the going tough. They stand him up. That'll bring up a 4th down punting situation again for North Carolina A&T.
And Furman with all 3 timeouts. Wouldn't be surprised if they take one of these timeouts to kind of keep, you know, they should get pretty good field position here when they get the ball back on this punt. If they try to put something together, put more points and add more points to this lead that they have.
Mike Rivers, Jr. out of Wilmington, North Carolina, has been busy so far today. Pressure came, gets it away. Good kick.
Nice kick.
A lot of hang time. Fair catch called for by DeJuan Bell. Paladins will begin just beyond their own 25 when we come back to Paladin Stadium here in Greenville, 2021 opener. Back in Greenville, Furman back to work. We've kind of settled into a chess match here. Devin Wynn tries to get outside, but A&T's got guys who can chase him down. Nice job by Jacob Roberts, the linebacker. Furman did have a 1st and goal situation, and A&T eventually forced them into where they had to settle for a field goal. But for the most part, you're seeing the quality of the North Carolina A&T defense. There is a Aggies player
cramp
down. That's probably a cramp, and I believe that's Joseph Stuckey, a linebacker.
Pete, I tell you, those full body cramps or those like calf cramps, especially like I said on a hot day like this, I mean, excruciating pain. I mean, just terrible. I remember those days back at Wofford, and you would have to, you know, I mean, like your knees, your calves.
Does that ever happen? It happens to me all the time. I just be sitting around or lying in bed, and all of a sudden I'll feel that cramp come on. And in a stunning development, I'm not in the same physical condition of someone like Stuckey or the other players on the field. So if it's happening to someone like me, you would think that. But these poor guys on the day in what are we in the mid 80s, close to 90 degrees, on the artificial surface, which adds the heat.
It really does. I mean, that artificial turf, I mean, it looks great, but on hot days like this, and then also when you fall on it, I mean, it really cuts you up pretty good.
Hopefully Stuckey will be able to walk that off. They're going to need him to get back in the game. Out of Hillside, New Jersey, played at Milford Academy, a junior, one of their starting linebackers.
But again, this defense is so athletic, and they have so much speed. Furman, in my opinion, I don't think they're going to be able to go sideline to sideline with a lot of these types of plays and think they're going to get a lot of production. I think you have to attack A&T directly going straight at them, or try to, utilize the RPO game and take advantage of those mismatch somewhere on the field.
Second down.
Oh.
Wow.
Great job.
Knocked down big time. Boy, we have seen some good work so far out of Henry Daniel, 6'2", 235, freshman out of Creedmoor, North Carolina. That time, had he just been able to maybe get a little tighter handle on that ball, it might have reeled it in. He would have maybe gotten all the way to the house.
One of my good friends, he coaches defensive line at the Houston Texas now. He always talks about that, teaches his guys, if you can't get to the quarterback, put your hands up. Try to get a tip. Try to get a knockdown. Shout out to Alan Smith, because little things like that will help the defensive unit out and create a third and long play right here. Now you're able to get the ball back with, maybe 3 minutes left in the quarter and try to put something together to tie this ball game.
Tell you one thing, A&T's defense, they find the ball. Taekwon King that time. Freshman from Dillon, South Carolina, great football town.
Boom.
They snuff it out on the screen play to Roberto, and once again we see Bleak Road to punt it away.
And they do a great job of getting the guy on the ground. You see, they do a great job of tackling, really wrapping guys up, gang tackling, getting them on the ground quickly, not allowing, them to possibly get a lot of yak and things of that nature. So, again, let's see what this A&T offense can do. Can they finally put a drive together with 3 minutes left? They don't have any timeout, so they're going to have to move fast. They're going to have to be smart with the football. Can that offensive line protect, give Jalen some time to survey the field, because he's got a strong arm, he knows the offense, and he's got the athletes to put something together to get points on the board.
All right, so North Carolina A&T now back to work. We saw a lot of Jermaine Martin on that last series. See if they keep it with a guy who gained nearly 1,500 yards, an average FCS leading 7.7 yards per carry in 2019. Hesitation that time, bulling his way toward the 40.
He's a load, Pete. He's a load to bring down. And again, that's going to wear on this Furman defense, having to try to bring a big back like that down throughout the game. But again, you've got to run the football to kind of keep them honest and hopefully set up that big play opportunity for Jalen as the game goes on.
Play action. There's Hunt. He's been targeted a few times in this game. First time that Fowler able to find him on a completion out to the 45.
You see that arm strength, being able to ride it in and then understand he's going to get popped, but makes a good throw for his receiver to catch the ball and hopefully get upfield for a third and short.
Third down and 1.
Quarterback power, it looks like, or they shift. Okay.
A&T just 1 of 6 so far on third downs. Martin, great anticipation, and the Paladins stuff it out. And who else but a guy who's been there for a long time, Adrian Hope.
Yeah, great
senior
job.
Out of Ocala, Florida.
This Furman, right here, you're pulling the guard and tackle to the left. Kind of surprised that the back didn't try to follow that guard and tackle more to the left where, his blockers were going. But again, great job by this Furman defense, collapsing the pocket, collapsing and creating a new line of scrimmage. and getting that penetration to stop A&T on that 3rd and short.
Mike Rivers once again on the punt. Juan Bell back deep for the Paladins. Rivers, a couple of seasons ago, averaged over 40 yards per punt. Bell able to tiptoe up the sideline and add a few yards after making the grab near the 10. So back to work offensively goes Furman. So 1:14 to go, and the Paladins get the ball back, and they still have all 3 timeouts.
They get the ball back and have all timeouts. I think, honestly, Pete, Furman, at this point, late in the 2nd quarter, they should feel pretty good, but not great about themselves. They saw some good things. They still had some missed opportunities, but they were able to build some momentum here in the first half that they can go into halftime, try to make some adjustments and come back out in the second half with. A&T, Coach Washington, I'm sure he's going to have a really hard, conversation with his team in the locker room because they're just not playing A&T standard football. They're not running the ball extremely well. They haven't had that big play down the field with their weapons on the outside yet. Defense has played okay. Defense hasn't given up a lot of points, and they haven't given up a lot of big plays. Defense has played solid, but both coaches, are going to have some different speeches at halftime with their units, and should be an interesting second half.
Win 11 yards that time. He's got carries of 11 and 16 yards. 8 touches, though, just 28 so far for the Paladins' top threat offensively. That time backpedaling into the sideline off his 3rd reception of the game. See the clock now under a minute to go before the intermission.
And again, nice safe pass, kind of, moving down the field. And again, you don't want to do anything silly with the football here. If it's not there.
Sisson thought deep off his back foot. Great catch in traffic.
Wow. Great focus right there to be able to see that one all the way in.
Zach Peterson able to pull down the reception. Remember, they tried to hit him long earlier in this opening half of play. That time, Peterson able to get it across midfield. 19 yards and a first down with about half a minute to go at the 46-yard line. Sisson looking long the other way, and wow. Amir McNeil was the closest player to that, and he's wearing a jersey for North Carolina A&T.
Going back to that play with to Peterson, Hamp did a great job looking to the right, going through his progressions, didn't see anything, and then throwing back to his left to get that big first down play. Saw some miscommunication there on that particular play, but again, you don't want to force anything. If it's not there, get rid of it, throw it to your check down. You have the lead, you have the momentum so far in the first half. You don't want to do anything silly to turn the football over to, allow that momentum to slip. 23
seconds to go, 2nd and 10. Sisson over the middle for a win.
That's a flag. Yeah.
And there it comes in late. Boy, I just love the reaction. Reams was the trailing defender, but I think they're going to end up throwing the flag on Richie Kittles, the safety. He's the one who had the most expression. Florida Atlantic transfer. And you see, yeah, he made the contact, even though the ball, it looked like, I think North Carolina A&T would argue it was not a catchable ball.
But you don't know that in the moment, and you see that on the sideline, but he didn't know that. And honestly, you think about it, he was the last, stage of defense. So he'd rather give up a PI than give up a touchdown. So you kind of understand his thought process there. And again, they gave up 15 yards instead of like the NFL rule where it's marked at the spot of the foul.
Sisson, 16th completion of the day. Again, finds Peterson. He's now 16 out of 27. A couple of key plays here in this game with 13 to go in the second quarter. The flow of this game has been one where the defenses have seemed to control it. Furman up by 7, but boy, they can add on here. And right now, the 7-point deficit for A&T, you get the impression that's maybe more of a mountain than it should be, as their offense has struggled to have any kind of consistency. Sisson, pressure from behind. He'll be sacked.
Well, still a lot of football left, Pete. And again, this defense has had a bend but don't break mentality. They kind of take on that tough attitude from their head coach, as you see here, just sticking with it. You know, guys working. He gets around the horn, boom, gets home. Great job by Big 94 right there making the play.
Robert Porcher, his dad was a great one for SC State many years ago, then played in the NFL for the Lions, and now his son, who transferred from Virginia Tech, coming up with a big play. Furman using a timeout, 6 seconds to go. And I don't know if they'd have enough to take a shot at the end zone. Let's see if they simply send Bleak Road out there to try to extend this lead to 10 points at the break.
And again, if you're A&T, I think you've got to be really happy with how you've played so far, especially, you know, they could have easily given up. They could have easily given up a big play, but being well coached, they understand the situation and playing good situational football, creating a second and long with 6 seconds left here in the first half. I'm sure Coach Washington's reminding them technique, compete, understanding the standard. On the flip side, you have to understand what Furman's looking at. Coach Hendricks telling his guys, listen, let's finish just the half out strong. Let's get a field goal, go up 10, make some adjustments, and keep building on that momentum. So, again, both teams have been competing well, but there are a lot of opportunities and a lot of football left here in the second half.
Bleak Road hit a 41-yarder earlier. This a 40-yard attempt.
Missed it.
Wind not a huge factor today, and no good as he misses it wide. So Bleak Road, who was 6 of 7 in the spring, now 1 of 2 this afternoon. 2 seconds remain before the half.
Now, I think it's interesting that we should note, Pete, as we watch this missed field goal here, that's a missed opportunity for Furman. And allowing A&T to stay in this game by 1 possession through a touchdown, you're really playing with fire, because this A&T team, as we saw back in 2019, they can put up a lot of points, and you don't want to allow them to hit that spark at the right moment in the second half.
And they're one of 3 Big South teams in the top 25 preseason poll. First time that's ever happened for that conference.
Yeah.
They're picked 3rd in their league, which gives you an idea of the quality of the Big South this year. And the Furman Paladins picked 3rd in the SoCon, and the kind of chess match you would expect to see when you've got 2 teams that seem to be of equal talent through 30 minutes of football. So halftime arrives here in Greenville. 10-3, Furman. The Hamp Sisson to Devin Wynn touchdown connection for the lone TD in the opening half of play. 7-point advantage for the home team. We come back to Greenville after this. Paladin Stadium, Greenville, South Carolina. Great to have you on board wherever you're tuned in today along our Nexstar network for the season premiere of the Ingles SoCon Game of the Week. Furman, the 7-point advantage with Jared Singleton, Pete Hannity back with you. North Carolina A&T has held the line, as we talked about during the half, and Andrew Brown will get ready to kick it away to start half number 2. But I think, though, at some point you're going to see a spark either out of Fowler and Banks again in the passing game, or Martin on the ground. But first things first, they're getting ready to play some defense. Bell on the return, has a seam. DeJuan Bell, a player who showed so much promise in the program. 4th-year junior out of North Augusta. Nice return to start things out in half number 2.
And I think if you're Furman, you got to come back out with the same attitude that you had to start the game with, understanding that your backfield is your strongest asset on the offense. So, you know, what do? Let's come out and run the football. Let's establish the run early, continue to wear down this A&T defense, because, again, it's hot. This is the first game in quite some time for this A&T defense. They can probably only hold up for so long. So let's test them out, see how long they can go.
The pitch, looking for room, and finding it is Thomas. And a hard hit at the end. And once again, there's the safety, Najee Reams for A&T.
I tell you, Najee Reams is making a name for himself. I mean, just watch. He sees this, understands his responsibility, and just makes a great, shows up with bad intentions and makes a big hit on the running back. But again, great first down play for Furman, you know, creating a 2nd and 3. That's where you want to be.
And once again, a wall up the middle. Thomas again, they use him on the inside for the first time today. Had just 12 carries in the spring for 84 yards. A&T, tough team to run on, not only between the tackles, but out on the boundary, because you've got a guy like the safety Reams, who in 2019 had 38 tackles, a lot of those coming in run support.
Yeah, and again, this defensive line for A&T, they're big and they're physical. So here on a big third down play, let's see who can win the offensive line or defensive line scrimmage.
Paladins 5 for 10 in the opening half. Looks like they're going to be close here. Dominic Roberto, though, stopped shy by at least a yard.
That's a huge win for the Aggies coming out for the half. I mean, being able to force a 3-and-out and really takes away some of the momentum that Furman was able to build in the first half. Let's see what they can do as they get the football back. Have they made some adjustments to really give Jalen an opportunity to get more production here in the third quarter?
Those punters have been busy today. Bleekrode gets away, a boomer. Wow, what a kick. Landing in the far end zone. Tommy Bleekrode following a line of great kickers and punters here at Furman. His long in the spring was 69. That one was close. Timeout on the field in a 10-3 game. Aggies ball for the first time in the second half on the front end of our Ingles-SoCon Game of the Week doubleheader. Western Carolina, Eastern Kentucky to follow at 6 p.m. Kerwin Bell era beginning in Cullowhee. Jalen Fowler and the Aggies still looking up at a 7-point deficit. First time with the ball here in the second half. He's 4 of 13 by air. Martin, 7 carries, just 15 yards in the first half, but ahead of steam as he runs to the wide side.
And again, just trying to establish the run game early. When you're able to run the football, it makes everything else a whole lot easier. And so getting that positive yards, 2nd and 6, that's very manageable. You know, wouldn't be surprised if they run the football again, rely on this big physical offensive line, and create a 3rd and short situation. And that's a whole lot easier for a quarterback like Jalen who's making his first start.
So number 3, Cam Brinson with a good open field tackle for the Paladins. 2nd down and 6. Fowler. And intercepted Travis Blackshear. Hunt comes from behind to take him down. First turnover in the game, and Blackshear, an interception back in the spring, and a Furman team that tied for the lead in the SoCon with 8 picks. And he gets the crown, does Blackshear, with the first interception for his D here in the fall.
Blackshear did a great job reading the quarterback's eyes and came off of his man and got into another zone and made the interceptions. Great job right there, reading the quarterback eyes, and then again making a big turnover, critical here in the third quarter to get that momentum back on the Furman sideline. Great job.
So they've got the hat or the crown. It does look regal with the purple. That fits it quite well. There is a Paladin down being attended to and now being helped to his feet. Looked like a cramping situation for Matt Stachowka, one of the defensive linemen. But Blackshear, really good talent. Preseason All-SoCon player, had 3 passes broken up in the spring. They lost their top defensive back in terms of interceptions, Darius Kearse, to graduation, but Blackshear will really be a leader. And I would suppose the protocol is he gets to wear that hat until he has to put his helmet back on to go back out on the field.
Well, I hope the right protocol is they clean it, you know, with all the COVID and things like that, and make sure they're keeping everything clean and sanitized. But yeah, you're right. I think right now this is a big time for this Furman team right here in the third quarter. They had a big turnover. You're in plus territory. Take a shot, you know. Offensive line's had a good game so far. Let's take a shot down the field, see if we can get a cheap one real quick and really put the pressure on this A&T team early in the second half.
So the defense rests for the Paladins. The offense takes over at the 41 of North Carolina A&T. Play action, Sisson, man in stride, and room to run after the catch. Joshua Harris, quick slant after the turnover. That's how you like to attack teams. You get the ball back and you strike in a hurry, and the Paladins build on their lead.
Strike while it's hot. Again, the RPO game. He saw it. He liked his matchup. Made a great job by the offensive line creating that time, and he made a direct, nice strike to his receiver, and his receiver did the rest. Really putting it on right now here in the third quarter.
Big moment for the freshman out of Noonan, Georgia. 41 yards, his first catch as a Paladin. Guy they think can make a lot of plays for them. So Hamp Sisson, a second touchdown toss in the game. So often you hear coaches talk about when you force a turnover, especially near midfield, on the very next play, take a shot.
Got to.
And you know Sam Washington, with all of his defensive experience and prowess and his staff, recognized that might happen, but they exposed the defender in single coverage with Harris on the slant. And that was timed perfectly. Now we're going to have a review, I believe, as our leader of the band here today, referee Jerry Wellmaker, heads over to the sideline. Joshua Harris, like so many great Furman Paladins before him from the Atlanta area, or in his case, Noonan, Georgia, just a little bit outside of the immediate Atlanta metro area. And so is our referee.
I'm not sure what they're reviewing here, Pete. Looks pretty clean to me. Unless there's a clock issue or something.
Harris getting congratulations. Maybe Blackshear can bring the hat over and let him wear it. Think about that, back-to-back plays. Huge defensive play on the forced turnover, the interception by Blackshear. And then Harris, a first career reception for the Paladins, and none bigger than when you take it to the house. 41 yards from Sisson.
Yeah, and again, I think this is just talk. This shows you the maturity of this Furman team. Again, they had a rough spring year of 2021. Had some time in the off season over the summer. Coach said they had a great camp. You know, everyone's healthy. Everyone is in a good place mentally. And again, kind of getting into that normal feel of this is what we're supposed to be doing. You know, you got the crowd back. We saw some great tailgates earlier today. You're starting to see this Furman team showcase their maturity and showcase that they're ready to compete for a championship this year. So, again, glad to see that we're back to normal. That's the main thing. At least what we can, as normal as we can get.
Has to be some type of after the play extracurricular.
Something.
And trying to emphasize taunting and sportsmanship control this year. NCAA and their points of interest that the Football Rules Committee has laid out this year: targeting, taunting, uniform decorum, and sideline management. Wow. So Jacob Roberts, for North Carolina A&T's defense, one of their starting lineup, one of their starting linebackers.
Wow.
As best I could hear, we were told by Jerry Wellmaker that targeting was the call.
And that'd be the third defensive starter, I believe, that A&T would be without for the rest of the game.
And I didn't see him head to the locker room yet.
He's on the field right now, coming off.
And now he's got to come off, and he's going to have to exit. So you see him right at the top of your screen. So Alex Fumba left earlier for targeting. And again, targeting is the action, not necessarily the resulting contact. And in this case, it was the action on the quarterback. I should have said not necessarily at where the ball ends up, but it's the action. Right. It can be an action away from the ball is maybe the best way to state it. So it's on the quarterback. Wow. Extra point, no good. Looked like someone got a hand on it. So Sisson, just as he got rid of the ball, taking the hit by Roberts, targeting the call. 3 defensive starters exiting. Crossan due to a serious injury. Roberts and Fumba due to targeting. And North Carolina A&T down 16-3. Acknowledged it back in the first half when they had an on-field ceremony. Tommy Stevenson, Furman class of 1965. A huge booster in this program over the years, and the proprietor of what was known as Tommy's Ham House, just about a 3 or 4 mile drive down the road from the Furman campus. Well, he retired and closed his establishment back in the spring, but he had become an icon in the Greenville community for his eatery. It was a place where folks swapped stories over the years, always greeted by the gracious owner. Honored here on Tommy Stevenson Day at Paladin Stadium. All kinds of folks of fame visiting his restaurant over the years, and again, many a conversation and memorable moment was had at Tommy's Ham House. And Tommy Stevenson A great effort over the years representing Furman with Tommy's Ham House, and a great honor for him today.
I wish we had a plate of that right now, Pete. You know,
I didn't even consider that. Yeah, we are approaching the dinner hour for you, or at least dinner hour part 1 for you. They apply the targeting penalty on the kickoff, and as a result, it is pretty much a piece of cake to kick it far out of the end zone by Alex Leprevero. So let's take a look at that targeting again. And again, I don't think I set it up the right way when talking about it. It doesn't necessarily have to be on the ball. It's any point of contact. And in this case, the ejection will happen for a second player today for A&T, Jacob Roberts. What do you think?
I mean, it's hard to see at this angle. To me, it looks like he's extending his arms. He doesn't hit with the head, and it looks like his arms and hands hit. I mean, but again, I would need to see the other angle, the possible see if the crown of the helmet actually hit. But again, I mean, I don't. It's all about taking care of the safety of the players, and I get that. But it's going to be some work to try to make sure we get all on the same page moving forward.
So A&T, their biggest deficit of the game growing. This time they give it to Kayshawn Baker, and Baker, one of the better runs from scrimmage today for the Aggies.
At this point, A&T is going to have some sense of urgency. You know, they got to get some quick first downs. They've got to get to the line of scrimmage, get lined up, get set. Because again, you see here, great play, great first down play by Baker, identifying everybody, you know, hat on the hat, and identifying the hole, and then, you know, cutting it upfield, getting the first down. But A&T's got to get going. They have to have a sense of urgency, being down 13 here in the third quarter.
First down carry for Baker. Play action. Fowler.
Nice.
And he's got a man, and there's Banks, and that's the first time we've heard from Banks in a while. It's his 4th grab of the game, but his first since the opening quarter. An important weapon, and once again, a very experienced coaching staff at A&T, and they realize, guys, they've got to touch the football and how to adjust as this game goes on.
Absolutely, and again, calling plays that you know your guys can execute at a high level. And you saw right there, rolling the quarterback out, giving him different levels, different options to make the throw. Makes a good throw, creates a second and short. That's how you keep a drive alive, and that's how you keep the positive momentum. You see here, Fowler being able to pull it down. Again, he's 6'4", 240, big guy, big frame. I wouldn't be surprised if we see more of that here in the second half.
And Hugh Ryan at 6'1", 190 eventually brings him down, but it was like trying to pull down a freight train in Fowler.
Here, I mean, this just adds to the toolbox. There's more weapons that you have to worry about. And now you see, like I said, that sense of urgency, that A&T offense is rolling down the field, slowly but surely picking up momentum. How can Furman step up and slow that down?
Fowler once accounted for 7 touchdowns in a high school game, trying to make a big moment or two happen in his first collegiate start. And he's looking long for Hunt at the 5. Blackshear takes him down near the 2.
They're warming up. They're warming up. I told you, you know, this A&T offense, all they need is a spark to kind of get going, and they're getting that momentum kind of slowly shifting back. Furman really needs to, you know, find a way to step up. Here, again, great protection by the big boys up front. Jalen's able to look down the field, and his man wins his matchup. As you see that sense of urgency, getting to the line of scrimmage quickly. Now they're huddling up, trying to make sure everyone's on the same page so they can cap the drive off with a touchdown.
Actually mark him down at the 4 where it's 1st and goal. And the best drive so far for A&T. Martin back in there.
Good job.
Might have gotten a yard, but a good hard hit delivered by Cam Brinson.
Great tackle by Cam Brinson right there. That's the way you wrap up. That's the way you keep your head up when you tackle. Look at the bottom of your screen right here. Boom. Gets his hands around the running back, drives his feet through, drives his hips through. Great job right there by Furman in defense.
Travis Blackshear came up with a big turnover earlier in this quarter, and on the very next play, a strike to Harris from Sisson. Room to run. Fowler lowers a shoulder. Ball is loose. And the Furman Paladins with the big hit. And they force a second turnover here in quarter number 3.
Massive hit. Oh
Braden Gilby.
Give him the crown, right?
He gets to wear the hat.
Man, what a collision, Pete.
You figure it's a high percentage play. 6'4" quarterback who weighs 235 in the open field, but once again, Brinson nearby. Gilby comes up with the ball. Cam Brinson should get a share of being able to wear that over on the sidelines.
I mean, can we see the replay one more time? I mean, that hit that Brinson delivered right there, that's the hit that caused the fumble. Because the first hit, as you see here, I mean, and this is the right move. You have open green grass. You're supposed to go ahead and try to get that, but watch your second hit. Boom. Again, the backside.
And Blackshear made the initial, but it was the Brinson hit, the second hit, and a penalty marker down. It's going to go against A&T. Boy, that's just demoralizing.
Yeah.
Fowler.
That's tough.
Threw a high percentage pass on the earlier possession, picked off by Blackshear, and that time he was a yard from pay dirt, and the ball knocked away. And second turnover here in the half for A&T. They were +7 in that category in 2019, the last time they played a season, and had 13 turnovers for the year, but a couple here in the third quarter.
Yeah, that's tough. I mean, and again, that really drains the energy out of the A&T team that literally drove the football down the field, did a great job, converted on some big plays. And now you can make the argument, you know, if he would have thrown the ball, led his receiver more on that previous big pass, would he have scored and they not have been in that position to have to get under center and slow things down? So, again, but tough play. But let's give Furman some credit. Being able to bend but don't break, kind of that same mentality that we were seeing A&T's defense had. Furman was able to do that on that last possession and end up with a turnover.
And a nice dump off into the flat. Paladins backed up, but a good job by Sisson on the swing out to Chase Abshire. And it'll go for a first down. Once again, making the stop was Reams, but not before Abshire on his first touch of the game picked up 13 yards. Ooh, and Abshire, wow, cancels out the big play. Guilty of unsportsmanlike conduct. That'll back him up.
And you don't want to have that. That's the kind of stuff that you don't want to have if you're Furman. You just had a huge play, just got a big turnover. See what happens here. Yeah, you can't do that. You gotta be careful doing that on certain sidelines. You know, some people don't play with that, Pete.
He had to be excited again. He hadn't been a factor in the game at all today, and on his first touch, positive play, but penalty against the Paladins backs him up to the 10-yard line, where it's 1st and 10. And once again, we hear whistles. That was the 6th penalty against Furman, 5 so far against A&T.
I'm really surprised to see this by Furman, Pete, to be quite honest. I mean, this is a Furman team that, you know, they're not a young team there. They have mature players, and they have a culture here where they have a standard of not having these type of silly penalties, which are really a buzzkill for as you're trying to drive, you know, and really secure a win.
Open room. And looked like Devin Abrams going to make even more out of that than he eventually does, but he gets some of the yards back, and going to bring up 2nd down and a reasonable 7. Look at the hole for Abrams.
Huge hole. Again, that offensive line Coach Hendricks talked about was probably the healthiest it's been in quite some time, and he's got at least, you know, 7 or 8 guys that he can rotate in and out, and a lot of those guys are going to play. So when you're able to keep those guys fresh and healthy, you're going to see a lot of big open holes like that up the middle.
Miller, the tight end, running away from defenders. One man to beat inside the 30.
Wow.
And Ryan Miller, end to end. Tight ends aren't supposed to have that kind of speed.
Hey, but he's different. He's hybrid, man. Great job by the tight end right there, getting behind the offense. Let's give credit where credit's due. Hamp did a great job understanding the read, making the right quick throw, and then the tight end put on the burners and really showcased that speed there. Great job by Furman being able to really stretch this lead now here in the 3rd quarter.
Second time in the quarter that Furman forces a turnover and turns it into a touchdown. Bleak Road able to get that one through the uprights. Those two connected on a 73-yard score in the spring. Here in the opener in the fall, 87 yards. The tight end, his first touchdown here in this phase of the 21 campaign. Indeed, the longest career completion for Hamp Sisson, 87 yards to his tight end Ryan Miller. Makes it a 23-3 game. Been a real good day so far for the Furman offense. They've outgained A&T 387 to 157. Had a solid first half, but they've been efficient in the third quarter. And keep in mind, 2 turnovers by A&T have led to the 2 touchdowns that have extended a 10-3 halftime advantage. On the return, and some good room to run for Banks, and he's out near midfield before he's finally tripped up.
Well, if you're a Furman fan at home, you've got to be feeling really good about what you're seeing from your offense. You know, you want to see an offensive line that can create holes. You want to see a backfield and a slew of backs that can all tote the mail and also are versatile enough to be able to catch the ball out of the backfield. And you want to see a quarterback that's decisive. I think Hamp has done a great job as far as understanding his reads, understanding where he wants to go with the football, and executing at a high level and making the right throws. And again, high production from this Furman offense has led to 23 points so far in this game. And if you're a Furman fan at home, you've got to feel confident seeing that against a really good traditional A&T team as Furman gets ready to go into conference play soon.
Martin showing a burst of speed and some power at the end. Get inside of the 40. Kickoff return by Banks, 47 yards. Got it out to the 47, and that time, nice carry by one of the top running backs in the Big South and in all of FCS.
Now, one thing, Pete, that I think Coach Hendricks will agree with is Furman has to be sure to understand how to close games out. You got a big lead, you got a 20-point lead here, you know, midway through the third quarter. How do we finish the game strong? Not giving momentum back to the other team.
Pressure comes, Fowler able to get away from one and at least make something out of nothing.
But being able to finish the game when you have a big lead, I think that's really important that Coach Hendricks is trying to preach to his team right now here as they get ready to close up the third quarter here. Finish the game strong because you're going to need to do that as you get deep into conference play.
Jalen Fowler doing well. Blitz was coming.
Well, he's a big guy. I mean, when you get home against a big quarterback like that, you've got to really hit him low. You got to gang tackle him. You got to find ways to really get him down on the ground quickly because he's a big, strong kid, and he can break away from those arm tackles.
Evan DiMaggio got the hand on Fowler, but he turned into a 2-yard play. That might have been a miscommunication unless Martin was set up to block for Fowler, who lunges ahead and brings up 3rd and short. Paladins have outpassed the Aggies 311 to 104. Furman has rushed for just 76 yards, but again, they knew what a wall they were going to run into in this A&T defense, so they've attacked them differently. As for the defense, well, they've been able to contain Martin and Fowler in this offense. You saw the 14-yard carry by Martin, the running back, moments ago, but just 10 attempts for 33 yards so far. 3rd down upcoming. A&T 1 of 7 so far this afternoon. And that'll help that total. Little slant completion. Sterling Burkhalter, his first career reception for the Cincinnati native.
Great job right there by Jalen, understanding. He read the defense. I mean, he looked straight to where he was throwing the football. He still needs to work on that. Remember, he did that earlier, but he's looking down this guy. He sees what the defense is giving him, throws the ball to the right, the correct weapon there. But again, he's got to work on not just staring down his receivers because a good defense, such as we've seen today, they'll pick him off every time.
Fowler, and able to get it to his safety valve, Baker, and Baker makes something happen after the initial hit.
Flag, yep.
And then a flag looks like it's going to add some yards to that. So once again, North Carolina A&T is going to be in the neighborhood or maybe inside of the Furman 5-yard line.
Again, big quarterback, you got to try to gang tackle to get him down, but this is poor tackling. Arm tackling, guys loafing. You can't do that. You know, that's not the standard that Coach Clay Hendricks has established here.
Parker Stokes the guilty party for Furman.
The key, the best defense I've seen are defenses that gang tackle. Defenses that when one guy gets there, he holds the guy up, and you have a slew of guys coming around and gang tackling, getting him on the ground. You see plays like that, arm tackling, guys just kind of loafing to the pile, things like that. You can't have that and expect to have a championship caliber defense.
Based on how physical we've seen Fowler, able to stay on his feet, throw the ball with a man on his back. Dare I compare him to another #1 in the Carolinas just a few years ago, as that time Baker is nowhere to run. And there was Stokes, among others, making amends for Furman.
That's how you tackle. That's how you get a guy on the ground. You gang tackle him. If one guy gets there, he has to be able to rely that his other 10 brothers are going to get there and clean up and get the guy on the ground, not just stand around and loaf around. That's not the standard here at Furman. And again, that's how you play good defense, and that's what Coach Clay Hendricks is trying to instill, finishing the game, finishing the drive, and getting off of the field.
Jeremiah Jackson leading the surge that time. I inadvertently said Stokes. Jackson on the stop, whistles, and the flag thrown in on a 2nd and goal from the 12. And A&T will be pushed back a little bit further on their 6th penalty of the game. Furman, 8 penalties for 74 yards so far this afternoon as we wind down here in the 3rd quarter. You see the penalty yard situation.
And you kind of expect that. I mean, first game in over 2 years for A&T. You know, you're going to have some penalties in the first game. But again, it's all about mitigating that as the season goes on and getting more comfortable with the flow of the game.
2nd down, and the hard hit after the catch. As Martin was met by Hugh Ryan, sophomore out of Irmo, played at the great Dutch Fork High School. And it'll bring up a 3rd down and goal all the way out at the 16-yard line.
Dutch Fork came up to the upstate last night, correct?
Able to continue an unbeaten streak that's now 52 in a row and extend their winning streak to 26. 3rd and goal. We saw A&T convert on 3rd down moments ago. Big play for Fowler and the Aggies. And Hunt in traffic, leaps, touchdown.
Wow.
Ivan Yates did everything he could to get a hand on that, but zipped in there from Fowler to Hunt. First touchdown of the season for A&T, and it's a 16-yarder, and Jalen Fowler may feel like the world has been lifted off his shoulders to break through.
Great job by the O-line, picking up the blitz. And again, Jalen surveying the land, being able to see where all of his weapons are and finding who's winning their matchup, and then throwing a ball on a tight rope to his guy to get into the end zone. Great effort by him of extending and knowing where he was at on the field, that he had to extend a little extra to get the touchdown. Great drive by this A&T offense, and hopefully they can try to continue to build on this as the game. Still a lot of football left, only down by 13.
Andrew Brown's extra point try. Hunt is a big addition to this offense. He missed most of 2019 due to injury for the Aggies. Had a touchdown catch in the 19 season. Now he's got one in the opener in 2021. Big number 81 for North Carolina A&T. And for Fowler, who had 3 touchdown tosses a couple of seasons ago, able to take his team all the way from start to finish on an offensive series with 6 points, and it's a 23-10 game. It was 10-7 Furman at the half. An 8-play, 53-yard scoring drive in 4 minutes, 58 seconds.
Great drive.
North Carolina A&T able to answer, and they've been their own worst enemy, because the interception by Blackshear, which was followed by the quick scoring strike for Furman, and the fumble by Fowler right near the goal line led to the eventual 87-yard connection from Sisson to Miller, the tight end.
And again, if you're Furman right now, you got to find a way to understand how you're going to take adversity. You know, how are you going to take the fact that, okay, A&T went down, they put a nice drive together, they put points on the board, But we've had a great first half, and we had a pretty strong third quarter so far. How do we bounce back from that? Great test for this Furman program. Let's see what they do when they get the football back here.
And DeJuan Bell, another opportunity on a return for Furman. This time stopped just beyond the 20-yard line. So the Paladins going back to work. First time in 3 series they'll get the ball with a turnover, not leading to that.
I got a feeling we're going to see a big dose of Mr. Wynn and the tailbacks this particular drive.
You know, it's funny, before that previous series in the pass to Miller, I was wondering if, as he makes another catch, as a very reliable tight end, and he'll be wrestled out of bounds, but he had, remember, in the opening half gone off the field, was being attended to. Looked like he'd taken a hard hit, maybe had some pain in his shoulder area, but he indeed did return to action in a big way.
Yeah, he definitely has. And again, he's one of these impact players. You see here the RPO game again. Short, easy, quick, safe pass. But when you have the athletes like they have at Furman, that short little pass that we've seen can go a long way and actually turn into a big play into touchdowns.
Miller and Bell, 4 catches apiece for the Paladins to lead the way in that category. Little shuffle step by Wynn, but right there is Amir McNeil, and it'll bring up 3rd down.
Uh-oh.
And now once again, pushing and shoving, and another penalty marker thrown in. Let's see if this is going to be called against either team. McNeil heading over to the sidelines. McNeil picking up a first unsportsmanlike. The junior out of Laurinburg, North Carolina, played at Scotland County High. And that turns out to be a big moment as the ball moves out to the 39-yard line. If you're A&T with under 2 minutes to go in the third quarter, certainly hoping to make the momentum turn in your direction, having just cut it to a 13-point deficit. Sisson firing for DeLuca.
Coach is upset. He just threw, I think he threw his water bottle down on the sideline. I mean, again, this Furman offense has so many different weapons. As you see right here, I mean, you have to respect the run game. You have to respect the RPO. And then sometimes Hamp just sits back and he can just read your defense and just makes the right throw.
18 yards, Hamp Sisson working on a really good day. 20 of 31, 331 yards so far, and of course, 3 touchdown tosses. The 3 Paladins touchdowns all coming by way of the pass. Little spin, then a crawl for Wynn down to the 40.
And again, this Furman offense, they attack you so many different ways. They can run the ball up the middle. They can bounce it on the outside. Then they can throw in the RPO game. Then they can, they do so many little things that as a defense, it makes it really hard to prepare for. And when they have the guys, they have depth now, when they can rotate guys a lot up front, this Furman offense can be very deadly here in the SoCon.
Devin Abrams. And that'll be another first down. Sisson's already blown away his best passing day in the spring when he threw for 277 against Samford. He's closing in on 350.
And he looks so comfortable with it, Pete. He has like a new swagger about him that I didn't really see that this spring, but now he just seems like having that summer, having that live film to review from the spring. He just has a different swagger about himself, and he's carrying it well here in the first game of the fall season.
And that 10-yard connection to Abrams will be our final play of quarter number 3. Hamp Sisson, he and the Furman Paladins collectively with some swagger coming out of the halftime locker room. They built on their lead. They'll take a 13-point advantage of the fourth quarter on our Ingles SoCon Game of the Week. New battle to start out the Kerwin Bell era in Cullowhee, North Carolina. Should be a good game. Tune in for that. Scott Kurzwanski and Jay Sonhalter have the call of that battle. And then next Saturday, Jared and I are in the Low Country. Our Ingles SoCon Game of the Week has a backyard battle. The Citadel Bulldogs against the Buccaneers of Charleston Southern. The Citadel and Charleston Southern meet again. A rivalry on the line next Saturday, 2 p.m. on many of these same stations.
I love Charleston, Pete. One of my favorite places to go. Some good eating down there. Oh!
Sisson drops it, and Paladins will keep possession.
Hey, we got a doubleheader today, so, you know, once we wrap up here, if you're watching the game at home, run down to your local Ingles, get some, you know, some chips, some barbecue, get some of that ice cream that they got in the ice cream section, and come on back and watch the second game of the week.
Kendall Thomas able to fall on it. We've seen today the introduction of the running back heavily into the passing game for Ham Sisson, working on a career high already with 341 yards, actually now 307 for the Paladins on a second down and 14 carry for Furman. And Devin Abrams brings up a third down and 9, but Ham Sisson, 341 career yards. By the way, 87 of them on that touchdown toss to the tight end Miller, the fourth longest in Paladins history, although
really,
and they were in building what they've done, really going back into the 70s when Art Baker first arrived here, and all the greatness that's followed as there's an A&T player down. I would have thought their top 5 pass plays were all of 90 yards or more with the great quarterbacks they've had here and some really fine receivers. But
I mean, they've had some great teams. You know, I know some of the teams from like those national championship teams and finalists, you know, Robert Little, you know, you mentioned some of the guys from back in those days. I mean, they've had some great players here over here in Furman.
Had a quarterback, David Whitehurst, from back in the 70s go on and play in the NFL.
Yep.
And another quarterback play in the NFL who was pretty good, the late Sam Weich.
Dakota Dozier, offensive lineman. I played against him. He was from
Still
Brooklyn,
in the league.
Still in the league. Played down there in Brooklyn, KC, one of the top linemen in South Carolina. Played here at Furman. Furman's, they have produced people, and they have produced some good teams over the years. So I'm surprised. 83 yards, huh?
Yeah.
Wow.
So 87.
87 yards.
Of course, Brian Bratton, one of the fine wide receivers in program history. Now their wide receivers coach, passing game coordinator. I think he should take a little bit of credit for the tight end, Miller, making that play. Third down for the Paladins so far today, 5 of 11. Sisson over the middle, intended for Thomas. So fourth down, you're in the neighborhood of your opponent's 30-yard line, and Bleak Road will come out. He's their punter. He's also their kicker. He's 1 for 2 today on field goal tries. Made it from 41 and missed one from 40. And this will be an attempt of about 47 yards, which would match his long from the spring that he had up at ETSU. Out of the hold of Luke Bynum, another local playing for this Furman team. Kick low, has the distance, and it's good. So kick. Bleak Road now 2 of 3, and he extends the lead to 26-10 with a 47-yarder matching his best from the spring. Paladins trying to open with a win. They lead North Carolina A&T here in the fourth. The second half, couple of touchdowns, and the Bleak Road 47-yard field goal to build a 26-10 lead on the Aggies of North Carolina A&T. And along with Jared Singleton, Pete Yanity with you back at Paladin Stadium here in Greenville. Stadium that has been around now for roughly 40 years. They have put a new carpet down, and hence the beautiful facility over the years and a beautiful setting on this wonderful Furman campus. Banks on the return. So A&T still a 2-possession game to the max. They did show some spark in their last series. Jalen Fowler has looked very confident, quite frankly, throughout this game. Sam Washington calls him his guy, and now he's going to rely on his quarterback getting his first collegiate start to create some fourth quarter magic.
Well, not only that, Pete, I mean, he's got to have a sense of urgency. He's got to take leadership. You know, Coach Washington talked about that Jalen has really earn that leadership and taking on that quarterback role, and the guys follow him. So, you know, if he shows a sense of urgency, if he showcases that he cares, I think the guys will follow. So it'll be interesting to see how he comes out. Comes out slinging it.
And
boom.
Hunt!
Whoa.
He has been a big target today, and there he goes.
Talking about sense of urgency. You see the arm strength, you see the accuracy. That's what Coach Washington and this A&T fan base has been waiting to see all day. Fantastic job, offensive line, creates a good solid pocket, and again, his man wins his matchup. I mean, there's just too much speed, too much athleticism for him, and touchdown.
74 yards, wow. And the Aggies are right back in it.
We got ourselves a ball. I told you, a lot of football left. A lot of football left, but again, what did I say before? Coach Hendricks wants to find ways to teach his guys they've got to close games out. Just because you have a big lead, no lead is safe. You've got to close the game out.
The lone touchdown Hunt had in an injury-plagued 2019 campaign, as it looked like the Aggies had set up to go for 2. I actually looked away for a moment, and now we've got whistles and a delay of game. It was 43 yards, so that's in all likelihood his career high. And in terms of quick strike ability, Fowler's showing just that. So the Aggies trailing here by 10. You go for 2 and you keep yourself within a 1 possession, so it makes sense at this stage of the game. 13:24 to go. Fowler firing, Banks, got it.
Wow.
It's an 8-point game.
And that's the accuracy that I talked about. I mean, that's a tough throw, Pete. Very tough throw, and Jalen made that throw look effortless. We got ourselves a ball game right here, Pete. I tell you right here, look, as you see right here, being able to see the defense, understanding where his guy is, and just the nice touch in the corner of the end zone. Great job.
74 yards or more. Each has been able to put together a 1-play scoring drive in the second half, and Jalen Fowler making them proud in Inman, South Carolina, not only with his long strikes, but a really nice precision pass on the 2-point conversion to Corey Banks. Another return for the Paladins. Bell. That time, not a whole lot happening. He stopped shy of the 20.
So, and as you see here, Pete, you look at the sideline of Furman compared to the sideline of A&T. You slowly but surely seeing that momentum shift more and more to the A&T sideline. Big play, getting back into this ball game, fourth quarter. Defense is fired up. This defense has already been talented. They've already showcased that they've been able to bend but not break. They've given up a few big plays, but again, that's expected with every game. But now they have the momentum. Now they have the fire. How does Hamp Simpson in this Furman offense, how do they handle that adversity, and how can they find a way to close this game?
Win. Ooh. One of the experienced linebackers on this team is Joseph Stuckey. He was second on their squad at 19 with 70 stops.
Look, this sideline to sideline is just this A&T defense is just too quick for it. They're just too quick. They're too athletic. As you see right here, I mean, the great job of understanding technique, leveraging, keeping his outside arm free, and then closing in on the ball carrier, making a tackle. As now Furman, I think, looks like they have another guy down, one of the offensive linemen. But again, now sets up 2nd and 15, and you got a backup offensive lineman coming in. Wouldn't be surprised if you start seeing A&T attack wherever that replacement O-lineman comes in at. So again, Furman's got their hands full right now. How do they find a way to finish and close off the game?
You hope it's a cramping issue as North Carolina A&T gathers over on their sideline. Likewise for the Paladins offense across the way. A&T ranked as high as number 24 in the preseason FCS polls. It gives you an idea of the quality of depth in their new conference, the Big South. They're picked 3rd behind the reigning champion Monmouth and Kennesaw State. And on our network of Nexstar stations beginning in mid-September, we'll have a Big South game of the week to go along with a SoCon game of the week, all presented by Ingalls. And popping up, Anderson Tomlin, an all SoCon performer, So check your local listings for not only an Ingalls-SoCon Game of the Week, but a Ingalls Big South Game of the Week as well. That should be a great battle in that league this season, just as the Southern Conference expects to have another competitive season on the gridiron. Loss of 5 on the dump off to win. This time on the pitch, and not a whole lot of room for him.
And you see that's the difference. I talked about it earlier with Furman. If you got to game tackle. And again, this Aggie defense, they do a great job of running sideline to sideline. And when you see one, you know more are coming, and they're going to come with a bad attitude, and they're showcasing that. Now you've got a 3rd and 14. You can pin your ears back. You kind of can expect them to throw the ball here. And again, if you're Furman, you've got to find a way to convert.
Just 31 yards and 11 carries for Wynn, who had 3 100-yard-plus games rushing in the spring. Miller deflected, intercepted. First turnover of the game by the Paladins.
Wow.
And North Carolina A&T is set up just fine.
Wow.
Right place, right time, and the interception by the Aggies, Taekwon King.
And we got a guy down. It's like one of the D linemen got rolled up on towards the end of the pile. But again, look, great job, great position. Not a bad throw, but again, when that ball gets tipped like that, it's anyone's ball. You see it towards the bottom of your screen. You'll see a guy kind of get rolled up on. Looks like number 92. Looks like it might be an ankle or lower leg. But again, great job by this Aggie defense coming up huge. Again, you knew they were going to throw the football 3rd and 14. They've got to throw it, and doesn't come down with the catch. Tip ball and guys running towards the ball creates an opportunity for it to get an interception. Coach Nate Woody at Wofford used to always talk about that. When the ball's tipped, that's anyone's ball. But if you run towards the football, you have an opportunity to be there for an interception or a fumble.
They forced 20 turnovers in 2019, did North Carolina A&T. And the interception by King will set them up at the 14-yard line. Meanwhile, they continue to attend to the player down. Of course, earlier in the game, we saw one of their starting defensive backs suffer what appeared to be very serious injury, DJ Crossan. They had to bring the ambulance on the field, and they were attending to his neck area after he made contact with one of his teammates, Amir Neal, as each was defending a pass play.
Yeah, I was going to say, kind of what we talked about earlier, striking it while it's hot. If I'm A&T, I'm coming back out on the field. I'm rolling the pocket to the right. I'm setting up different levels. I have a guy in the flat. I have a guy in the back of the end zone. I have a guy trailing in the middle. And I'm letting Jalen, who's got a lot of momentum right now, I'm letting him see what the defense is giving him and make a play. That's the play call that I'm personally looking at. But we'll see what Coach Washington and his staff come up with. But, again, strike it while it's hot. Your team is juiced. You just had a big turnover. Let's go for the kill shot right now.
Trey Love helped off the field, the injured North Carolina A&T defensive lineman. And on the run back, he was trying to help block, and you see the middle of your screen. So he'll be attended to over the bench. So Jalen Fowler and the Aggies in the red zone. Play action over the middle. Good job once again by Brinson, denying the opportunity for Quinzel Lockhart.
Might have a pass interference here. Or it could be on the offense. Interesting call, big call.
They did not have great success a couple of years ago, as it is pass interference on the Aggies.
But when you got a quarterback with an arm like Jalen, he can make that up for you. And again, sometimes when you get backed up like that, it kind of gives you more room to operate.
True. So, pretty obvious, though. You notice how Lockhart, the intended receiver, looked like a defensive lineman throwing a running back trying to block him out of the way. So 1st and goal, back at the 29. Another occasion in this game where North Carolina A&T has had a down and goal situation with plenty of yards between them and the goal line. Fowler Tough to take down in the open field. Gets to the 20.
And that's a smart play. He understands it's 1st and 25. He doesn't have to get it all back in one play. Chip away at it. Put yourself in a manageable position where if you can't get a touchdown, you can get a field goal. And again, understand, take what the defense gives you. That's his mindset. He's not going to force anything that's not there. Pull it down. You're a big quarterback. You can take a couple hits and, you know, live to see another day.
Penalty moments ago, the 9th on A&T. Furman has been penalized 8 times in the game. Second and goal just outside of the 20. Martin hit initially. Taken down.
He probably would want to pull that next time.
Busting in there for the Paladins, Cameron Coleman, Jr. out of Elizabethton, Tennessee.
And again, big 3rd down right here. Okay, you take a sack, it might put you out of field goal range. So you can't take a sack, but you want to get some kind of positive yards in case you don't get the 1st down where you can get a field goal. Probably going to see a zone defense here. So again, find your check down if you don't have anything deep.
3 of 9 on 3rd downs over the middle and well beyond the intended target.
Nice job by the Furman defense. Giving up a lot, but again, bending but not breaking, forcing A&T not to get the touchdown but have to settle for a field goal.
So we'll again see Andrew Brown. He hit a 47-yarder in the opening half, his first collegiate attempt. Interestingly, competing against Furman is this Andrew Brown out of Lexington, North Carolina. The Paladins basketball team a few years ago, a player named Andrew Brown. He wore the number 5. Low kick, a wobbler, and no good. He pulled it to the left. On that attempt of 38 yards. Each place kicker 1 of 2 in the ball game. We'll see if either miss is a factor as we go down the stretch here. Still plenty of time to go. 10:34 remains in our 4th quarter. Our score remains 26-18 in favor of Furman.
Yeah, Furman, great job by the defense being able to get off the field and not giving up any points. But again, Coach Hendricks cannot be that happy with the fact that his team is allowing A&T to slowly creep back into this game. He's probably preaching right there in that huddle before they took the field. Finish the game. Get some 1st downs, put a drive together. Let's finish the game and showcase that we're a mature team. We're a team that's ready to, you know, that can face some adversity, but we can bounce back and punch the team back in the mouth if we get hit in the mouth.
Furman offense has been efficient to say the least, but they are in a dogfight and that batted down. Boy, that could have been a 2nd straight pick thrown by Sisson, reaching up and getting his hands on it. Stephen Davis Jr. transfer to this North Carolina A&T program out of Columbia, South Carolina. His dad was a phenomenal player in the Palmetto State as well as at Auburn, and then in the NFL with the Redskins and the Panthers. 2nd down and 10. Another hard hit in the interior. Boy, pads have been popping. You can tell these teams, especially A&T, wanted to hit somebody else.
Well, we talked about that with Coach Washington this week in our call with him. You know, he's like, look, our guys are so excited. We could play anybody, anywhere, as long as it's not ourselves. We're just looking forward to playing someone. So, yeah, they're definitely hitting down there. I'm glad I'm up here with you, Pete.
2 yards for winning the carry. I'm glad you're up here with me, too. 3rd down and 8. Paladins so far 5 of 13 on 3rd downs. Little out pattern and the connection to Harris with a big touchdown reception. That's his 2nd career catch, and it moves the chains at a very important time of the game.
Very important time, and that's exactly what Coach Clay Hendricks is looking for. Let's put a drive together. Let's get a couple 1st downs. Let's try to finish this drive with a touchdown. Let's finish the game. And again, that's the kind of momentum and kind of attitude that you're going to have if you're Furman in order to compete and win a SoCon championship.
Pretty good start to his Furman career for the receiver Joshua Harris. 2 catches for 50 yards and a touchdown.
Not a bad day at the office, right?
1st and 10 at the 32. Going to rely on the run game and still throw it around if you're Furman. And Harris, a great job with Reams right on his back.
And Reams, again, almost had it. I mean, he was a split second late. Probably could have picked that one off. But again, great job by the Furman receiver being able to have strong hands You know, we saw a play last night, I forgot what game it was, where the receiver, the North Carolina game, receiver didn't have strong hands and allowed the defender to steal the ball away from him. When you get your hands on the football, all the receivers at home, you got to squeeze it, bring it to your chest, and be strong with it.
Play action. Sisson near sideline. Harris, did he get a foot in? No, he was out. Really nice coverage by Miles Simon for A&T.
You know, I'm surprised to see Furman throwing the ball so much in the fourth quarter with the lead and having it being second and short. Would think they would be utilizing all the good tailbacks that they have in that physical offensive line to really try to get this game over quickly. But
still, a lot of the guys who were one of the best run defenses in the country were A&T 2 years ago there. So you figure you attack where the resistance is the least. Another third down. This one, 3rd and 1. And the ball is dropped on the handoff to Roberto. Let's see.
There's no way they fumbled
indicating as if they have it.
There's no way they turn it over twice.
And the celebration on for A&T.
Wow.
A second forced turnover here in the fourth quarter after they had 2 critical turnovers themselves in the third.
Pete, you just can't do it. You just can't do it. I think, you know, Furman's trying to get too cute, you know, with throwing the ball on the second down. Now they were, you know, having to run the football on 3rd and short and then fumbling the football. You've got to be able to finish football games. And now if you're A&T, you come back on the field, what do? You had one play last time for a touchdown. I wouldn't be surprised to see the same thing this time. Where's the matchup? Understand what the defense is giving you and attack it.
Top of your screen. Weapons for Fowler. Once again, they get the ball back, trailing by just 8. He'll hand it off to the reliable Martin, looking for a hole, lowers his shoulder. It'll be 2nd down.
This is a big drive because, I mean, I don't know how many times A&T might get the ball this close in plus territory. You don't know how many times you're going to get the ball back in general. I mean, there's 8 minutes left in the game and the clock is ticking. So A&T has to get production out of this drive.
Gain of 1 on the play for Martin. 12 carries, 33 yards.
There he goes.
The handoff, looking deep.
Flag.
Yeah.
Man.
Too much contact that time for the Paladins' Ivan Yates. It's got to be a load trying to defend Corey Banks, the fine receiver out of Tyrone, Georgia.
Now that creates a whole new set of downs, and you can go back to running the football.
Each team now with 9 penalties against so far.
Yeah, and again, in the first game, you expect to see a lot of penalties, things like that. But again, these are 2 programs that are well coached, and that will be addressed. I'd be very surprised if both of these teams have 9 penalties in week 2.
Ball placed at the 24 of Furman. Paladins gave it up inside their own 20 on the previous A&T possession. They were able to deny any points as the Aggies had to settle for a field goal try out of Brown. 1st and 10. This time the backup to Martin. Baker wiggles his way for a couple of yards. That looked a whole lot more like it had potential for excitement at the start, though.
He's a shifty little guy. I mean, he's a very quick back. And again, you got to wrap guys like that up and get them on the ground quickly. You can't allow them to, you can't just arm tackle them because, again, they're going to make you miss and they can really hit it and take it the distance. So, again, great job by the Furman defense of only allowing him to get 1 yard.
Travis Blackshear, another big play in the second half. He had an interception earlier that set up a touchdown. 2nd down, 9. Still plenty of time to go, but, yeah, you do want to make something happen here points-wise if you're A&T. That time, Banks unable to corral it, had a defender closing.
That was tough.
Brinson was nearby once again. Maybe he heard his footsteps.
Yeah, he heard footsteps for sure. And again, when you're a receiver, you got to bring the ball in first. Can't worry so much about, you know, the run after the catch. You got to make sure you catch the football first. And again, sometimes those wide receivers, they start thinking about the celebration before they actually think about the reception.
3 of 10 on 3rd downs for A&T this afternoon.
Big 3rd down right here.
Fowler, touch pass, Baker, broken up Gilby.
I think if he could do that one over, he would tuck it and run. He had the first down if he would have just tuck it and run. He's 6'5", 6'4", 240. There was no one clearly in front of him. I mean, I can see what the thought process was there, trying to maybe get a PI, but if you can get the guaranteed first down, I would try to keep the drive alive.
Brown made one from 47 in the opening half. The Lexington, North Carolina native missing earlier in this quarter from 38 yards away. This is a try of just beyond 40 yards. Bad snap. Kick is blocked. Scramble for the ball. Paladins will get it back. And once again, A&T unable to seize the opportunity after forcing a turnover.
That's tough. That's tough for A&T. I mean, you get 2 turnovers and, you know, 2 opportunities, and you get a missed field goal and a blocked field goal. Great job by Furman, though. You know, bend but don't break. But again, Coach Hendricks can't be pleased with the fact that it's taking a botched field goal and a missed field goal to continue to lead. He would rather not turn the football over. He would rather have an offense that can put together a long drive, a 4 or 5 minute drive, milk the clock, end with a touchdown or a field goal, and be able to finish the game that way.
Really surprised the holder and their backup quarterback, Kingsley Afidi, didn't yell fire and just try to create a play, because it was clearly not a situation where he was going to be able to set the ball for his kicker. As Wynn picks up 3 on a first down carry. We saw the ball thrown quite a bit on the previous possession for the Paladins. I've got to think they're now in clock kill mode. And you're going to see a steady diet of Wynn and Abrams, among others.
And it should have been that way the last drive. It should have been that way, you know, the whole.
Although it was a fumble, the handoff to Roberto on a 3rd down and short conversion that led to that second turnover. And this time, room to run for Devin Wynn across midfield.
Stay in bounds. Good. See,
his best carry of the day, and a very smart play by a veteran.
Exactly. You said it, Pete. A veteran that understands, has good football awareness, understanding the situation, you know, not going out of bounds, seeing green grass and getting there. And again, that is what it's all about. That's what Coach Clay Hendricks wants to see. He wants to see his guys convert, continue to get first downs, continue to milk the clock. Now you force A&T to start having to burn some of those timeouts. And, you know, that's what you have to do to close out games.
Best run of the day, 24 yards. Win now, 60 yards on 14 touches. They go to the other Devin, and James able to break some tackles before he's hit hard at the end of the run.
And that's a good first down play. Good first down play, getting positive yards. I think we got a couple banged up guys.
And a Paladin offensive lineman again down. That might be Tomlin once again. We saw him cramp up earlier.
I wonder if Tomlin's the guy that got hit in the back.
That's actually not Tomlin. No, instead it's Wyatt Hughes.
You see them pushing on those toes, trying to get that muscle flexed out a little bit. It's nothing but a cramp.
Hughes making his first career start at a guard today out of Chattanooga's McCallie School.
I like that number, 6'2". That was my favorite number when I played, Pete.
And I thought it was Hughes. Might have actually been Evan Jumper, and it was Jumper as they changed up some numbers on me here. So Jumper, starting center. You saw him bounce back up, so he should return shortly, you would think.
Get him some Gatorade, some those little Gator Light packets.
Second down and 4, coming up on 5 to play, fourth quarter. So every snap becoming critical as to how this one's going to end up. Wynn able to get the first down.
Yeah. Now you got to start calling your timeouts if you're A&T, and if you're Furman, keep doing the same thing, finishing the drive, finishing the game. And that's where Coach Hendricks has to count on his offensive linemen to be able to take over. You know, look at those double teams, manning the line of scrimmage, working your way up to the linebacker level, sealing those guys off. And when you have talented backs such as Furman, they will make you right. But you have to do your job as an offensive lineman to really create those opportunities for your backfield.
And a good start to a senior season for Devin Wynn. 15 carries, 65 yards on the receiving end. He's been vital in the passing game, 4 receptions for 47, including a touchdown catch. First TD of the fall season for the Furman offense. Somebody jumped. Let's find out who.
Everyone's always pointing at each other, right? He did it, man. No, he did it. No, he jumped first.
Officials have been busy in this one.
Very much. Make sure they're hydrated.
So it'll move it 5 yards in the Paladins' favor. 19 combined penalties. That's the 10th on North Carolina A&T.
And again, that clock keeps moving. And you got to protect the ball if you're Furman here, right? You know, you can't turn the ball over with the interception. You can't turn the ball over with the botched mesh. You know, you've got to be sure to protect the football, do all the little things right to finish this game off.
Win. Ooh, boy, we've really seen a burst of speed and, quite frankly, some running room for him over these past few carries that we hadn't in the first 3.5 quarters.
Yeah, and again, I think that's that A&T defense. They've been doing such a great job, and again, they haven't played against anyone in over 2 years. You know, it's a really hot day. Being in this environment and having a lot asked of you here late in the fourth quarter, you might start seeing some of that give away, and that's why you're starting to see this Furman offensive line making bigger and bigger holes. You see the backfield being able to hit the hole a little bit harder and getting more production out of their run game right now. So this A&T defense, they've done a fantastic job. You got to take your hats off to them. But it looks like maybe that wear and tear is catching up here late in the fourth.
Paladins clearly taking their time, working that play clock way down. Coming up on 3.5 to go fourth quarter, as you see. Aggies still have all 3 of their timeouts. Win, and that time caught and slung to the ground.
Yes, that's the one thing I used to hate, Pete, being offensive lineman and you're trying to milk the clock. You have to get in your stance and just hold it. I'm like, can we just stand in the huddle and then run out?
Henry Daniel, by the way, nice job for the defensive lineman. Freshman out of Creedmont, North Carolina, having a good day. And Aggies will go ahead and call the timeout with Furman looking at a 2nd and 11. I totally agree with you. Now, you can understand these days if you don't really huddle up and you pretty much are going for it. And we've seen Furman go fast today and not use the huddle for the most part.
I mean, can we stand? I mean, I think the clock is, what, 25 seconds? We know we're going to use most of the clock. Let's just stand in the huddle to at least 15, 13 seconds, trot to the line of scrimmage. That's going to take 7 seconds for some of the big boys. And so then you get down in your stance and you snap the ball with 2 or 3 seconds left. Boom. You know, why make the big boys have to hold their stance for a whole 20 seconds? That's torture, man. That's torture. No wonder the guys are cramping up.
Paladins during this fourth quarter, most importantly, that 3rd number you see over on the right. They've held the ball for over 8 minutes.
How can they finish the drive off? Protect the football, do all the little things right.
Sisson dumping to Win, got behind the defender. He'll be thrown down. Good catch-up speed by Stuckey, the linebacker. And it'll be 3rd down and short. A&T with a quick turnaround. Friday, they head east and go play in Durham against Duke. Furman getting ready next Saturday to head up to Cookeville, Tennessee, take on Tennessee Tech. Really high percentage play in this situation.
Yeah, very much so. And again, protecting the football, understanding the situation, staying in bounds, keeping the clock rolling. Great job right there by the veteran Devin Wynn.
George Quarles, the offensive coordinator at Furman. Really good call. What a great job he does. Here's Wynn trying to get the first down. See him reaching the ball out. I think they might spot him about a yard shy, and a 2nd timeout will be used by A&T with a 4th and short upcoming and 2:29 remaining here in our final quarter of regulation. Devin Wynn of the Paladins trying to seal the deal here in the opener. He's carried for 74 yards so far. 26-18, under 2.5 to go. 2 for 3 today.
Big field goal right here, Pete.
It's a little bit beyond an extra point attempt, trying to make this an 11-point lead. And Bleak Road, 26-yarder, an important conversion. And he extends the lead to 29-18. Paladins settle for 3. Happy they did. They lead late on our Ingles SoCon Game of the Week. Career day for the Paladins. 25 of 40, 362 yards, 3 touchdowns. He matches an effort he had in the spring in that category against Samford, with the 362 yards blowing away his previous career high of 277. And Sisson and the Paladins now just 2 minutes, 27 seconds away from wrapping up an opening win. Little pooch kick. Left Prevro.
Going the wrong way, big fella. Oh.
A&T hoping, trying anything. Some creativity shown by Michael Salahuddin that time, but ended up getting negative yards when it all turns out. So Jalen Fowler and A&T, they trailed 16-3 and then 26-10, but got back in this game a couple of times. Looking up at a 2-possession game, just 1 timeout remaining for A&T. They did score on a quick 74-yard strike from Fowler to Ron Hunt.
I think it's safe to say, I mean, it's never over till it's over, but there were definitely a lot of good things that A&T has done today that they should feel really good about.
And Fowler trying to do more, and Sterling Burkhalter, a freshman out of Cincinnati, showing that he is going to turn into another reliable target for the Aggies.
And again, it's not over yet, but you know, they can strike downfield when they want to, when everyone's on the same page. So that's what you have to try to find plays and find that kind of momentum and different strategies that are going to allow you to put points on the board.
40 yards. Fowler, first career start now, 12 of 25 for 250, couple of touchdowns. He's also led them in rushing, 10 carries, 34. Pressure coming, gets rid of it. And coming back to make the grab is Hunt. And that's for another first down. They've got some guys who can post up in the receiving game. Hunt, who just caught the ball, is 6'3". Burkhalter, 6'5". Player not available today, Zach Leslie, stands 6'4", so kind of look like they may be the Aggies basketball team coming off the bus.
Yeah.
With the size they have.
And they're athletic, and again.
Well, and they've got a quarterback who stands 6'4". So
yeah. I mean,
he can see the field as well.
They've got the guys. It's just, I think, being off for since 2019, you know, you kind of see they're not all on the same page quite yet.
Banks getting out of bounds as pressure came from Gilby.
But I think throughout the season, as they transition to this new conference, I think they're going to be a threat. And I think, you know, any team that plays against any team that sees this film, they're going to recognize that there's a lot of talent on this A&T team. And once they kind of get in the rhythm, they're really hard to slow down and stop. On the flip side, I think Furman's done a great job showcasing one. They put up 29, almost 30 points, and they still turned the ball over twice. You clean up those turnovers, you clean up those, you know, those penalties, things like that.
And Fowler goes down.
This is a really good football team that this Furman Paladin program has.
Guy who's done that quite a bit in his career, Adrian Hope. So it brings up 3rd down and 9. Clock continues to wind. 1:15 to go in the 4th quarter. Fowler near the end zone.
Who caught it?
And let's see. Caught, or was it reeled in or not, or knocked away? It looked like it was.
It said incomplete. Look.
Yeah, it was pulled in by Burkhalter, but he was out of bounds.
Like 2 guys on the same team in the same area. Again, that's just not on the same page.
Tamon Cook was also there. Hugh Ryan doing a nice job for the Paladins covering.
Great throw again. Oh, yeah, he was out of bounds.
And Yates was right there as well. So 4th down. Pretty much the game right here with 1:08 to play.
It's your ball game, folks.
Fowler threw it one way, Burkhalter went the other, and that's going to do it. A&T will give it up on downs, and the Furman Paladins, they may have started feeling comfortable with a 16-point advantage. A&T hung in there, but the Paladins look like they're going to get away with this victory of 11 points. A couple of kneel downs needed, and Furman will be able to salt away win number 1 in 2021. So this is the first of our Ingalls-SoCon Game of the Week doubleheader, following at the top of the hour on many of these same stations, Western Carolina and Eastern Kentucky, as they kick off the